Okay, and we're back. There we go. Now we see our numbers from our normal folk. How y'all doing? Welcome, 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 welcome. We so glad y'all here with us. We are back. If you missed us, this is a good moment to basically say, go follow our pages on social media. Please go follow our pages, y'all. Everything is Cultish Convo at Cultish Convo. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Also, you can find us on yeah, I think that's it. That's it. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, yeah, and YouTube. You can find us on YouTube as well at Cultish Convo. Do that, do that, do that. All right, y'all. We want to see y'all in the comments. Show us some love. Show us that you're here. Again, share this video. We're so glad y'all are here. We about to dive into all this wonderful topic tonight. But before we do that, we got a presentation. We have a lot of folks, our folks that y'all know we started out as Wine and Recap last year during the pandemic. Danny, myself, and Bree, who we love, but Bree is away in LA and she is doing major things. She's working with WB. She's working with Warner Brothers on set, doing a whole bunch of stuff, y'all. So proud of my girl. So I said, yo, I got to keep you a part of this because you started this. So, hey, let's do it. So every week she's going to be popping in, giving y'all the Insecure recap. And then we're going to piggyback off of that. And you know that Insecure is really talking about these relationships and mental health and getting yourself together and getting yourself out there and whatnot. So, hey, we're going to get these feelings together and we're going to check out this quick Wine and Recap with Be More.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? Your girl, yes, she is back. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Be More, coming to you from Los Angeles, California with Wine and Recap and Cultish. Get into it. All right, y'all, let's get into it. So I am here bringing you the recap for Insecure episode 502. Let's get into it. So we begin off the episode with seeing a different version of Molly's and Issa's relationship, right? I will say this particular episode, I truly enjoyed how they basically showed them dating each other. I felt like that's what this entire episode was about. Like, for the most part, you saw both Molly and Issa in the frame, for the most part, together. You see them planning dates together, figuring out when they're going to eat, what they're going to eat. You see them texting each other at work. I absolutely love the overhead shot of Molly and Issa in the bed and that moment that they had of them falling asleep together. They in a full-blown friendship relationship, if you ask me. And I truly love seeing this version of them. For me, it's great to see how they're coming back to a new version of their friendship. I don't think it will ever be the same as it was before the whole incident that happened last season. However, it's great to see this just beautiful, amazing embrace of the new versions of them, and I am absolutely loving it. I think we need to see more versions of that on TV. It don't always got to be drama. Now, moving on to the drama, as I always say, y'all know I'm Team Nathan all the way. I already know what my co-host gonna say. Listen, Team Nathan all the way. He shows up, he does what he's supposed to do. Okay, of course, that one time, last season or whatever, but we're over that. Okay, Team Nathan comes in all the way, always saving the day. So we see Nathan planning this event with his coworkers and Issa and trying to put it together, right? So you see them like having just a casual conversation, and you also see Team Issa trying to like vie for information and figure out, is he dating and what's going on? Listen, I'm going to go ahead and say the unpopular opinion. I think Issa needs to make up her mind. Does she want a friend or does she want an F buddy? I'm just gonna say it, okay? Because in this episode, I just saw where it was heading. I just knew like something was gonna happen. Issa was gonna text Nathan on the slide. And once, she had that long night, and we're gonna get to the event and the fashion show. Once she had that long event, she texted Nathan just on some casual stuff, but I saw the pride. Okay? I'm a woman. I've seen it before, okay? And if I want to be honest, I've seen some people that I know personally go ahead and pull this trick too. So I already saw the tea and the drama coming, honey. So we get there, they have a drink, right? And so Nathan, being the gentleman that he is, Team Nathan, whoop whoop, all the way. He's like, I'm just going to go ahead and head out. Here go Team Issa, go ahead and lurking him back in. And then when it's time to do the do, she start crying. What? Now, I'm not going to say emotions don't hit you out of anywhere, because they do. Let's be honest. Everyone's human. Everyone knows that emotions can just come however they come. But bruh, like right then, like right now, like we about to do what we about to do and it just comes in right now. I just want to say, for the record, Issa should already know, yes, Nathan is respecting her wishes, but she knows that he still has some feelings for her. And I just feel like it was dead wrong for Issa to go ahead and lurk him. I feel like I'm always the person, if you just want to F buddy, say that and let's go ahead and get it cracking and let's just be that, okay? But don't be trying to lurk and pull the friendship card like, no. Be upfront, do what you want to do and say what you want. Now, I already know, like I said, my co-hosts are going to have something to say about that. Moving on, let's go on to Molly's mom trying to set her up with Herbert. I got to say his name like that, Herbert. What? Like, have y'all ever been, like, with somebody and they tried to set you up? Like, one of my friends tried to set me up on a date and I questioned our whole friendship. I said, who do you think I actually go for? Like, what? Like, why would you try to set me up with this person? Like, they're not even my type. They don't even look like a person I would be interested in. If I seen them from across the room, I would say nothing, because I'm not attracted to them. I don't know what Molly's mom was thinking, but I definitely can relate to my girl in terms of trying to answer them questions on the dating app. Let's be honest, those questions can give you an anxiety attack if you are not ready, okay? And just like Molly, I didn't know what to say when I was in my little shindig trying to figure out what I was going to put on my own dating app, okay? Now, moving on to my last point, which y'all know I had to save it the best for last. Okay, so we got an introduction of a new character. I call him Chocolate Baby. I call him Hershey King. I call him the Mister, the Mystery, the Wonder. His name on the show is Krishan, but you guys may know him as Kofi Cerebro. Can I just say, for all the women, thank you, Issa. Girl, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this. A little bit of new eye candy. So we have Issa D helping Krishan with an event, right? And he has this brilliant idea, this out-of-the-box idea, unorthodox, of how he sees this fashion show taking place, right? And so, of course, Issa dealing with brands have to take note. But the question of the episode was him, Krishan, calling Issa a sellout. Now, I want to pose to you guys, do you think Issa was a sellout? Or do you think that was a bit harsh, right? When you're working with brands, when you have a brand marriage, when you have a brand relationship, you have to, of course, hear out notes, hear about changes that may have to happen. However, where do you guys think Issa should have stood on that issue? Do you think that she should have went forth in believing him and believing the vision and his passion and the idea that he had for the show? Or do you think that she should have went the way that she went in terms of giving him the real and cutting and eliminating things? I know as an artistpreneur myself, I've been in this situation before. So I want to hear from you guys as well. Please, in the comments, let us know. Do you think Issa was a sellout? Or do you think that Issa was doing her job? Go ahead, flood the comments and let us know. This is Be More coming to you from Los Angeles, California with Wine and Recap and Cultish saying we got plenty more for you this season, so please stay tuned. As always, this is Be More saying earn your sleep. Hustle more, live more, and of course, love more. Be More signing out saying peace. Hold up, wait a minute, we not finished. Tune in next week for the next recap. Peace, y'all.
And nobody can hear me because I'm on mute. And I get everybody else on mute. God, we're terrible. Jesus. Ah!
Are we back yet? Can you hear
Baby,
us?
we are back. But I have muted everybody because we just eating dinner and carrying on. Baby, we just got a lot going on, y'all.
Well,
But we
can I just
back.
say that I really enjoyed that recap.
Yes, that's our sister.
I was just back here sipping.
Listen,
Yeah,
those
they
were
do show us quiet. I
four-
hope we had a whole conversation.
Dave ain't say nothing. Dave ain't say nothing, y'all. I'm hollering. All right, y'all. We love Bree. Bree, when you see this, I know you're at work right now, but when you see this, because I know you're gonna watch it, I tagged you. Great job. I can't wait to hear what you come up with for next week. So just so y'all know, she's a week behind just because we still on this same topic. So we still talking about what happened in the last episode. And of course, we missed DK last week, and it was some things that he said he wanted to give to this episode as well. And then we're gonna combine 3 and 4 because our episode next week, y'all, is gonna be all about Insecure, because I think we're going to be mid-season if they didn't give them more than 8. If they gave them more than 8 episodes, then we won't be mid-season, but I think we'll be mid-season. So yeah.
They go ahead, sweater.
Right. Oh, Egypt, you're not.
We hear you, baby.
I am.
You
You're
not
not.
muted too. We hear you.
We hear you.
Everybody, we hear you.
We hear everyone. We hear everyone.
My thing say the host
Mine
muted your
says
mic.
across here,
It say
says
unmuted.
the host muted your mic. That's what.
And I can
That's
hear
what
everything. I can hear everything y'all saying.
Okay.
Audience, can y'all hear us?
Mic check.
I can't hear Egypt.
Hello.
Well,
Can
I
y'all
can't hear.
hear-
I can't hear Egypt. No, now that's who I can't hear. Wait.
Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Danny, can you hear us? No.
I
Egypt,
hear
no.
everybody.
Me too.
I hear everything.
Me. Okay. Well, Egypt, I don't know what's going on, baby, but we can hear you.
I can hear Egypt.
Oh no, I can't. No, I can't. I'm sorry.
Oh, bye.
I go.
Who got this echo?
I don't hear echo. You hear echo?
I did at first, and I can hear it now.
Okay. Egypt, can you hear? Can you hear us though? But we can't hear you. Okay. You wanna refresh and come back in? All right. Well, while that's happening. I'm screaming. All right. So nonetheless, okay. So
That's all.
okay.
All right, you
See
back.
now you see that now. You thought it was us. It was you.
No,
But
it was
praise God.
definitely me.
Okay. It's all right. It's okay. That's what we're here for. All right, y'all. Thank you again, Bree, as we jump back in. So, here we are. We are chatting about friendship, relationship, and growth, right? Because we want to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, thank you for that wonderful recap. So, let's
Wonderful.
just jump right into it, y'all. We left off on, we closed it out with growth, but I still feel like there's some more places that we can go, and we're gonna dive into some places tonight. And we're gonna try to keep it short because we about an hour. Okay. Um, but nonetheless, so let's jump into basically what Bree said. Bree was like, "Let me know if you want to smash or not. Like what? Like and I kind of feel the
So,
same way."
so you mean to tell
Okay, here we
me?
go.
You
Okay.
mean to tell me? You
Here we go.
demanded I let you know if I want to smash or not, but you ain't got to tell me your love languages. Okay.
Now listen here. Listen, he asked this one question. Nobody said nothing about no
No
love.
one said anything about any type of love language, Simmons.
The love language is smash or pass. Okay, that's it.
That's it. That that's the love language. It is literally that. And
Physical touch.
physical. No, because we figured that out last week that it was because remember Sean said if you just gonna roll over in it, and I said that's not physical touch. Just rolling
Well,
over
I
in it
mean,
now. Wait,
well, I mean,
Oh
I'm
my.
just saying. So how do we feel about that? Like what are we feeling? Are we feeling like those of us that are single? What are we feeling with that? Are we saying that
right? Go
or
ahead.
those that dated that are in relationships or married, those that dated during that time? What was your experience, DK?
For me, I had I was a late bloomer because of where I grew up and whose house I was under. So when I got to college, I literally asked some of my friends, "Is like, how do y'all tell people y'all want to fuck?" That seems just so like erroneous to just like blurt out. Like, how do you form your mouth to say, "Hey, I want to fuck"? Like I would get beside myself, just or cringe thinking about the actual like, yeah, because quite frankly, I do want to do that, but how do I let somebody know? And I feel like I don't want to look like, I don't know. And the answer was just simply just say it, and I was just like, well, how do you get to the point of just saying something like that? Because I would feel cheap if somebody just said X, Y, and Z. But it was a different world, and I was just learning how to play the game in that. But then as I've gotten older, people aren't as direct as they make themselves to be. And so, it's there's a game. You gotta look at what they say in text messaging coding. It's a bunch of
It's always Sim.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just all about, now, I found ways of saying it more politely, but some people just out here just saying, hey, they found was just saying, I want to fuck.
Danny, I feel like you got something to say. If not, I was just gonna jump in.
Well, I think that I agree with my brother DK because especially growing up in the way that we grew up, you feel some kind of way. But I think after being real grown and paying your own bills and you got your own way of being, I think you could be direct. I mean, I understand the cheap feeling, but I was like, oh, is that cheap? I mean, so anyway, you're expressing your needs, and you should be able to express that to people who can, acknowledge the fact that this is where we are in this relationship. So, I wouldn't say this to somebody that want a relationship with me because they're like, oh my gosh, but I do agree with DK. And then I am getting to a point where I am starting to despise people that have an opinion on how I should behave or how I should act or how I should carry myself when I'm responsible for me. I have not put my responsibilities of my soul self to anybody. So, I'm going to take ownership of my actions. If this is the way I feel and I'm trusting you with my feelings, either you can say yes or no.
Yeah, I wonder
So,
if it is a late bloomer thing because I do late bloomer. I do wonder if it's a late thing because I do agree with DK as well. I was involved with someone who was very direct, and sometimes I would be like, can we not talk about it? Like if the spirit leads us to that,
My God, spirit. What spirit is that?
right? If we feel led to do it, let's just do it. But I did not want to have conversations about it. I just feel like, that's something that is sacred. It shouldn't be something. Well, of course you do want to plan for hygiene purposes, thank God. But
You ain't always saying?
hello.
Hollering.
But
I'm hollering.
I just felt like that's something that should just happen, in the moment. But in the same way, I do think that people should be upfront if that's all they want to do, because if you just jump or dive into having sex with somebody, you know, feelings develop and things of that nature. And so you have to be very careful, because I'm the kind of person, once we start doing that, it's just like, okay, what's the wedding colors gonna be?
Oh no, Dave.
Okay, yeah, no. Okay, too soon,
You
too
go
soon, too soon,
ahead.
too soon. But you go ahead. You go
I
ahead,
mean,
brother. You go ahead.
that's just me. Like I don't feel like, I'm giving. If I give you my body, we really need to start making plans towards something greater in life. I'm just not giving you my body because of a temporary moment.
Oh, I need to think better of myself. I'm sorry.
Mm.
Let me mute myself.
I mean, so I feel like this. I feel like depending on where
But I
you are
think
in
that's
life,
too. I think that comes with preference. That's literally just preference, because you do have some people out here, men and women, who that's all they're interested in, and actually that could all be what the relationship is, strictly that. So I think it all depends on preference.
I mean, I agree with you, Sean. I think it does it is preference, but I feel like when I say like, tell me up front, like I feel like there are a lot of people who don't necessarily know what they want in a relationship, and they don't know that they want a relationship, and they just want to have sex. So rather than just saying, yo, oh, I'm interested in you, or oh, maybe this and that, but when your whole intention was to just smash, if your intention was just to smash, say that from jump. Like Bree said, be like, yo, this is what it is. I want to fuck. I want to smash. Versus trying to string somebody along, or either it be like a whole thing drawn out of like, oh well, yeah, but then like say you date for 3 weeks, or you go out for. Or, I'm sorry, we're gonna get into that in a second. You go out about 3-4 weeks, and then all of a sudden y'all smash, and then it's just like that's all you wanted. Then where does
But
that
then
leave
that
you?
goes back, I feel like it goes back to what DK was saying earlier, where everybody is not as bold as they say or they think they are.
I'm bold.
And so I don't know, in my opinion, I really don't know too many people that's just going to be that bold to say
Oh,
that.
I know some.
Hey, this is what I'm, and listen, and I'm a very sexual person. And
Take your time.
even me, I'm taking my time. Even me, I have never, ever, ever been that bold. Ever.
Go ahead, DJ.
I mean, I I agree with Sean a little bit. Like, I've never been that bold, but there's different languages to it. Like, people don't always directly say, "Yo, like I want to fuck," and move on, or "Yo, like can we do this?" And people have different conversations. Like they indirectly talk about, like if you're talking to somebody and y'all flirting, it could come off in you're flirting indirectly. Like you could say something. Somebody could say something, "Oh, I'm eating this," and be like, "Oh, I wonder what you taste like." That's basically me, basically approaching you like, "Yeah, I want to get on there. I want to," and like that's an invitation. That's how people, but that's the interactions. That's what happens. A lot of times where
Ain't
people
nobody ever asked
they
me what I
use.
taste like. You babe, go ahead.
But the,
Go
but
And
ahead.
at
again,
first I thought it was the wine that was making me hot. I think it's this conversation. Jesus. Woo.
DK,
You
somebody ever
know,
asked you what you taste like?
my
Oh
man.
my.
Go ahead with this tapestry. You know what? I do think that it's a subtle ways of doing it. But you know what? When
Exactly.
you are perceived in a certain manner, and when you do come off to be direct, I know to just for me when I make myself clear, it's like no, that's not what you want, because all women want, they want relationship, or they want to be married, or you are a wholesome looking girl, so I can't believe you would say something like that. And so they have perceptions, and then you don't want to fall into a trap too. So say if you know that's all it is, but for the sake of being a way that you feel like you got to keep it going. So have you been in relationships where it was just a smash and it should have been the past, but y'all just kept it going out of the sake of I've given myself to this person and I deserve, like what Dave was sharing, I deserve to try to at least build a future upon it.
I wanted to say that one thing that has helped me now is that like I literally like question myself before I go out. I do a self inventory, like would you mind a an escapade for the night? Like, because if what I found for me and myself, if I don't and I meet somebody out at a club, I might lead with the wrong intentions of like my everything isn't aligned. Like I might lead like, oh, I'm looking for someone to date, to be in a relationship with, and then to marry. When the other person just wants a good night, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about you having to take self inventory of yourself, and then once you, and because when things get heated, and well, I can't say because people can laugh and still say no when you think it's one thing and they really mean no. But what I'm trying to say is that not only when you do that self check, but you ask those probing questions to the other person as well, because you want to go into things with a clear understanding.
I agree, DK. I like that outlook on that. Like you said, I think it's you have to make a choice and really decide. Am I on that tonight? And I think that when you decide that just kind of if you going out on a Friday night to a club, and you're like, okay, well, I know this what I'm on or whatever. But I also feel like, what if you meet someone and then you be like, well, I had this talk of myself before I left the house, but how you doing? What's up? That's totally how I don't talk to people, but I'm just saying.
But I
Um,
think that comes with it. It still kind of goes back to what DK was saying with the roots of what you can do. So I'm going to take a real inventory of myself and know like, hey, I might be feeling a little frisky. So best I'm not even going to go out. If I know I don't want to put myself in a situation where I may compromise, where I know I might not clearly be at the moment, then I have enough self power to say, hey, don't even put myself in situations where I may be even enticed by that. And you do have, like I just posted earlier, like I wish I could go to a Hallmark town and find somebody that I can really fall in love with. Now,
that
do I
took me
really
down. I just want you
believe
to
in
know.
fall in love? No, but am I open to it? Is that putting up there like every time I walk around Blue Island, I'm always looking for somebody to fall in love with? Yes.
You know what? I'm gonna
Does
be
it
honest
actually
though,
happen?
Danny.
No.
Blue Island is definitely a Hallmark Christmas town. I just want you to
It
know.
is.
It is.
Like
I go to the
I'm gonna meet you
brewery,
for coffee one day at that coffee shop, and then
walk
but I also
around.
feel like it's Schitt's Creek too. For those that have
It
watched Schitt's
is.
Creek, I really
I
feel
Yeah,
like
have
it
that's
is.
been
that's
Schitt's
old
Creek.
west. That's what a brewery is. But for real, I think that you really do have to be in touch with yourself to know what you can handle. And if you know that being this direct will come with a cost, or if you know that the person that you're engaging with, because I can have conversations with them, and if they in their mind don't believe the words that's coming out of my mouth, and then we got a whole situation. Like, I'm thinking it's this, and they like, well, you say that this, but this is really how you really feel. And I'm like, no, this is pretty much I'm
It's not
consistent.
That's
right.
Yeah,
creepy.
so
Facts.
it's
That's
then you
creepy.
got a whole situationship, which I got an
Mhm.
A+ in situationships. So I do
Hey,
understand.
that's another ship we need to talk about. Situationships. My
Yeah,
gosh,
situationship.
another ship. Okay, okay, okay. As we're moving, all right. So talking on that, um, relationship titles. What's really appropriate with these levels or these titles of these relationships? I feel like all of us are over the 30 threshold. And so I think that, all right, all right, all right, settle it down. Because Dave and DK just gave me the same face.
Speak for yourself. You don't know how old I
I
am.
almost called it out, but I'll be quiet. Um,
Thank
but
you.
I feel that, okay, well, I'll say us being more mature than this generation now. Well, not even this generation now, but probably the generation under me. There's different language when you talk about these titles. Um, I have been in certain situations myself where it was just DK. Listen, listen, okay, because okay, okay. I have been in a situation myself where it has seemed like you say we're dating, but dating is something totally different from what it was in my time. And then you say we go together, in the words of my friend Danny, that's something completely different. You say we talking, that's something completely different. So it's like,
Or we vibing.
oh, we
Don't
see
get
now
it.
that one,
Don't get it.
Vibing what?
See that
don't
one
get it.
there. That one
That's
there.
that
Let's
Janae
That's some
Aiko
I
teenage.
spirit.
forgot about that one.
I don't.
That's some teenagery stuff, and I tell they little tales. Make sure you vibe your ass to the counselor's office and get you a handful of condoms out that bowl while you vibing this goddamn weekend.
So does
Vibing.
vibing mean you haven't said?
I don't know. I still don't know.
Somebody let us know what vibe means, because I feel like that's what I
Somebody throw
think I
vibe.
do.
Okay,
Those of you
so
that are
I
on
had
here,
Vibing
that.
is like equivalent to when they used to say like we juicing.
Oh no, I'm
baby,
not.
now, baby, Dave, you done.
I
My
call
God.
Dave
juicing
done
and
told his age. Dave done told his age.
juicing is the
Dave
winter
done
court.
told his age. He said
I
juicing,
thought
baby.
it was caking or smashing. It's vibing like caking. So
So
caking is kind of like
bacon,
we kind of
smashing,
into
and
each
juicing
other.
is all sex. Okay.
Caking is juicing.
Yes. No. Caking is all lovey-dovey. We hugged up.
Yeah,
Right, that's
yeah.
what I think of vibe.
Juicing,
Maybe
we're doing it.
I think vibing and caking is
Juicing.
probably
Smashing, we're smashing our body parts together.
Oh,
So is that the same as juicing?
No,
Yes.
Yes,
Juicing,
technically,
we're
yes.
sharing our juices. Yeah.
Vibing is
But vibing, I ain't got
vibing.
that. Okay.
Vibing is basically I don't know what I want to do, but I still want to have sex with you.
So we are
Yeah,
doing it when we vibing.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
some people depend on the person and depend on whoever that is vibing, because the vibing word come in at like it always come in at the
And
when like the girl
also,
asks, so what are we now or what are we doing? And the guy say, oh,
right,
we just
right.
vibing right now. We trying to figure this out, and that's
oh,
And
that's that
also,
Okay,
stage.
so
That's
so
people like
so
nah.
so then I would say that vibing and talking are the same thing.
because I
In
talk
this
to a lot of people. I
generation,
ain't,
kind
I
of
ain't doing
yeah.
nothing with
yeah,
them.
So
that's
wait,
all
so
love.
basically, this is what you just taught me today. Okay, let me make sure I got this correct because I'm a teacher and I love reflection, right? So I must reflect upon the lesson that was just taught. Basically, every term that they got to describe being in a situation with another individual of a romantic standpoint all ends with sex. Because we just said juicing was sex, smashing was sex, vibing was sex, talking was sex. So they just out here just fucking.
Yeah.
So I think
Goddamn,
so. Here's the
rabbit.
thing.
I think
So here how my clinical mind when it was explained to me about vibing.
Okay.
Vibing is much more of a fluid thing between all of them. Like we can vibe when we go to Starbucks. That's a vibe. We can
I
go
like
out
that.
to
Right.
eat. That's a vibe.
I
If
like
a
those type of
vibe
vibes.
leads us to the
That's
bedroom,
another
that's
way.
another
Yeah,
vibe. So it's just really
absolutely.
it's like an ebb and
It's
flow. It's pretty much anywhere that you want it to
one.
go without
I
the
agree.
stipulation of a
Being
title
together.
in the weight of a title.
And that's what separates that from smashing. So when DJ
Yep.
was speaking, I was going to in and say, when you vibe, you could throw a little bit of a couple dates in there, every now and then.
Absolutely.
We vibing. So they touched on it. Versus smashing is where you
That's
at
what we always do.
12:30 in the morning. Hey, you available? Yeah, I'm available.
Got
Oh,
you.
meet up.
Got
Bang
you.
bang, we done until the
Teach,
next
teach us,
3 weeks.
teach.
Oh, I
That's
think I like the
smash.
vibe. I'm gonna put that on my business card.
You see, so
What
you see
vibe is?
the vast difference between the two?
I do. I now
Yeah.
have clarity, and I appreciate you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank y'all. That was really good.
Thank you very much.
We did a lot of vabbing and smashing, in our lives.
My God.
I'm
Well,
gonna
you
put
know,
that on my. I'm gonna put that on my Bumble profile now because we talked about that DJ and Dave, because we were just trying to help me with my Bumble and my other, because I was on Plenty of Fish and I said I would like to have fun and I got plenty of eggplants and dicks. So
Yes, you did.
Have
Yes,
you
you
some fun,
did.
friend. Have you some
How
fun.
about you want to have fun, honey?
to vibe in a way of getting to know somebody, just kind of go to Starbucks. I like all of that, but I don't think I put that on my profile. And it was more so I wanted to smash cake juice. When
Guess what, Danny?
but see,
Guess what? When you
here's
say
what
you
things-
vibing, you gonna get pictures of Starbucks venti coffee next to penises. Okay.
Okay, I could do that, but at least it's Starbucks there. I like.
No, that's what they do. I'm sorry. That's
Here's
what
the
they
thing.
do.
Here's the thing. This is
Show you
where
what they
things
first.
here's where things still get convoluted with people.
Okay.
They can know these vocabulary words, but have different motives still behind them. Because you really have to pay okay, so what does vibing mean for you? Because this is my definition or what vibing is. I need to make sure
We
that
clear.
it aligns with your definition of vibing or caking or juicing or baking. I don't know, but
I'm bringing back juicing. Juicing, I know what that means. We're gonna
yeah.
juice.
I like
So
Eric said chemistry. It's like a
Okay.
chemistry.
Yeah, I see. Okay, chemistry.
I just wonder if all of these
Chemistry in the
words and
bedroom
all
now?
these terms are like masks for people not wanting to say what it actually is.
that's
Right.
what I said. Like
Or
Absolutely.
being a
people have
committed
different
relationship.
people have different motives behind it because I can say, hey Dave, let's just vibe. In my mind, I just want to screw and that's it. But to you, you can be like, you know what? I can see us down at Home Depot. We can go to Starbucks one morning. We can do this. We can do that. We can go out to eat. You can meet my family, all this kind of stuff. And I just want to go to the bedroom. So again, you still have to ask the clarifying questions.
Absolutely.
Yes. What does your
Well,
vibe mean to you?
DK, you
Wait a
wasn't
minute,
with
wait a
us last week, but that was my key point. I was driving home. We got to talk to one another, no matter
Yeah.
what kind of relationship we're talking about.
Mhm.
One that's
Absolutely.
romantic, one that's a friendship, one that's a work relationship. We got to talk and communicate. We can't assume that people understand what we mean and how we feel and how we think. We cannot assume that. We have to open our mouths and say something.
Yes,
It's
you can't help what
a
you don't
very
know.
difficult test that I'm trying to teach. What's that, love?
I said you can't help what you don't
Uh-oh.
know. Can you hear
This
me?
is true. This is so true. So true. Because I'm working with the
She has
teenagers
revelation.
and I'll look around at the other adults next to me and I'm like, shit, I gotta work on you first. Let me leave them alone. Come on, let's go
And we
pray.
just
Let's talk about it.
last week, DK, which is originally where I was trying to allude to before I went just
I
every
don't
which
know
way.
saying that, yeah.
What
Let me
you
let
just
me just
said
get the logo.
was what I was trying to convey last week.
You put the logo up. You put the
But
logo
see,
up.
and then let's have a learning lesson with that because I mean you said a couple of times that's what I was trying to convey, and it goes to the phrase intent versus impact, right?
Yes.
We can say so many things, but sometimes we just don't know what the impact of it will be. So that's why we have to in communications through your situationships, your relationships, friendships, all these type of shifts. You really have to be pure and clear
Mm,
in your communication because
mm.
even if you're saying something right and you say it in the wrong way, you're still wrong.
Not only clear what you need to clear what you're hearing too. Clear your ears out. If the person specifically says they just want a juice smash vibe, and you like, no, you sitting here to see
No.
evidence. Pussy don't fail me now. You know,
Okay. Pussy
it's
don't
still
fail
gonna
me
fail
now.
you
That's a good
because
song.
that's not, that's a good
It
song.
really is.
I said, man, let me listen to these lyrics. This is something else.
Listen.
It's not gonna be more than what it is. So you have to not only be clear with what your meaning, but you got to be clear with your understanding so that you won't put more into it. There's nothing that we can do to make somebody change the way they feel about you. If they are upfront and honest from saying you, no matter of what you can give of yourself, monetary, whatever, this is what it is. You cannot change somebody to want to be with you. And I think sometimes that is misconstrued as well because we get a little taste of something and you get somebody that you probably ain't been around for a long time. And so you try to make it something that it's not. And so then that's when we get to the part of coming to a closure and it happens with our expectations.
Come on.
That's
Agreed.
good.
That's
That's
good,
good,
Danny. That's
Danny.
good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Don't let Missy
So
Elliott pump your head up.
I mean, if
if
somebody's
it's worth it, let me work it.
Stand down, flip it,
you
flip
Or
it.
cannot.
you talking about? Oh, you talking about 1 Minute Man? Which one you talking about?
Oh God.
She was talking about
Oh
Oh,
my.
pussy don't fail me now. Never mind. Whoopsie.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about right there. Yeah.
Before we move on, I just want to say this for everybody.
Yeah, look it up.
Don't listen to respond. Listen to learn and gather data.
yes.
Ooh.
Don't
Say it again,
listen
DK.
to
Say it again.
That's right.
Don't listen to respond. Listen to learn and gather data. That's how you get to know a person. If
See,
you just
DK,
listening,
that's it, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, DK is talking about what we talked about last week, where we play those games where we sit in front of each other and our significant other, and we repeat back what the other person just said to us. When you do that, you are
respective listening.
actively listening. You are being an effective listener. What happens is we hear what our partners say, and the first thing out our mouth is, here's what you just said to me. And it's what you interpreted. That's not
Yes.
what we said. Now we in an argument. Now I done hopped on the plane and ain't nobody taking care of the baby. I'm tired, you tired, and now we all sad.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Well, at least
You
you got
saw
some
how I did
mouths.
that?
You don't
Your
have
Go
turn.
ahead.
You saw how I did that.
you went on
Touchdown.
a plane. You somebody.
I had that thing that is
Wait a
purified.
minute.
That's
Eat
what
your
happened.
forehead.
If they had just had a goddamn conversation, poor John would have 2 goddamn happy parents. He'd be all right, and he'd be learning how to deal with that fucked up ass middle name.
Oh, you done moved on to this week's insecure.
I said, well, you didn't see me say it.
Whoa.
I
I
said
said
that's when the plane
steak, and then I
came in.
said wet. You
We ain't
didn't.
got that yet. We ain't got that yet. We ain't got that yet. We
I
ain't got
just
that
was
yet.
tired of
We
it.
coming. We coming. We coming. We coming.
I
Okay.
just was
Okay.
tired of it. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Fred.
Before we
Set it
get
up
there,
because we there.
before we get there, real quick, y'all. So let's talk about exes.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Well,
All
all right.
mine live in Texas.
What would you like to discuss, Fred? I'm listening.
All right.
Right,
So
what are you
as we
trying to-
as we dig into these exes real quick for a quick second, we are making great time, y'all. As we dig into these exes, as long as the shine don't go on the FTP moment, we good. As we dig into these exes, what do you think that you do? The question that I want to pose is this, and I want to pose this to our listening audience as well. Do you think you can be friends with your ex?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so.
I think so.
I
Okay.
think the possibility of that should be there because I believe that all relationships should end like seasons, and they
Yeah.
should end in a whole tragic fit. I mean, unless somebody get their wings on the glory, I understand that one. But I feel like they should be seasons, and so they should end amicably, and they should end with best wishes for both parties. So then,
Period. Yeah.
of
Wish you
course,
well.
if that's the case, you would expect you should be able to be friends with one of your exes. Now, I got a flip side to that because I feel like all of the panel is pretty much with me and agrees with this. I got a flip side to that.
Come on, devil's
Can you be friends with your ex when your current does not like it?
No, ain't nobody gonna come up with my new boo. I'm gonna have to just talk to you later. And the same respect.
No, that's real.
Because I have a situation. I don't think that
Okay, simple. Okay.
But I'm also, if I know that the ex's new person has a problem with me, I can let them know, hey,
I'ma
listen, I
fall
ain't got
out.
an issue with you, but for you to preserve your new ones, you better cleave and leave. I'm going to always say hi to you, but I don't have to say nothing to you because at the end of the day, you need to make whoever that is happy that you chose to be with. There is something in the characteristics that you know, so you need to give your attention to that person. It's not going to slight me either way because I'm doing what I know that I need to do to heal and to move forward. I don't have no problem with you. I have no problem with that person. But until they're in a place where they're safe to accept the way we are now, then there's something that you need to do to make that person feel a little bit more sure of themselves. And I don't want to be the distraction. So,
Man, y'all are some healed and have done the work people.
Listen, we have done the work, honey. We have done. Eric said yes, ma'am. V. Egypt Marie. Eric tagged you. Said yes, ma'am. And I'll say this. I'll say that depending on the situation, I believe that I can be friends with my ex. But I also feel like, and I hate to use the word triggers, but I want to ask you. I want to pose this question as well. Do you feel that your ex has triggered some things in your life mentally that with your current or with your future might be a little hard for you to deal with?
Say that again, Fred. That was loaded.
I'm sorry. so
No, I'm sorry. That's why, baby. You
They
said
said
the
that
whole
was
paragraph.
loaded, honey. You put all
They
the
said it was
bullets
loaded.
in the gun.
Okay.
Slow down.
I said
you moved
basically
it back.
I mean, he moved it back. He had too much.
Woo! Go ahead.
Jesus working a miracle over there, baby. Go ahead.
Hey!
Uh,
Wow.
no, so basically, what I said is, do you think that you could build a relationship with, not a relationship, but the triggers that your ex had, that you might have from your ex? Do you think that that might cause some issues in your new relationship, or whoever that you're talking to or getting to know?
I think triggers in any situation can bleed over to a relationship. Especially for those who have been in relationships. I personally, I've never had an ex. I've never been in a relationship. But I have had friendships that have brought up triggers, and I've been able to, self-sabotage other friendships based off of past friendships. And so it's something that a lot of times we don't know that what we're doing until we know better. And hopefully we do better. But some folks are in their mid 30s and still have a mind of a 16-year-old. People don't know what they don't know. And so with that, it's triggers can come at any point. You can have a mom and dad trigger in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think honestly, sometimes those triggers are why we cling to situationships. Just to have them, and it becomes real convoluted real quick.
Yeah.
I had a situation where somebody they thought they knew my business, and they really did think that my behaviors was triggered from something in the past, so much so where they just said like outrageous stuff. I was like, no, this is my personality. I'm not blaming nobody else for how I am. I'm not thinking about this situation or this person. This nigga is me. And so that's
You ain't
something
wrong.
I'm working on myself. And I think I'm to the part where I know the role that I played in each of my relationships and how I move forward to it. And if you think that you just privy to thinking you know certain characteristics about me and form your own opinion, where you feel that I'm triggered by this, no, I don't like being with people all the time. Sometimes I'm gonna react this way. So ask me that. Just don't make an assumption that I am wounded, hurt, or carrying baggage from something that may not even been a characteristic of that person. Like DK said, it could have been something from a parent, something from another form of trauma that in your own mind you created a narrative of this is how I am. You also have to kind of think about that. And for this one person, that I just stopped associating with them because he was triggered from what he thought my triggers was, and so we ain't gonna be together. We
Oh
both
no.
trigger, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, you have to learn how to walk with that, because if you already formulated an opinion thinking I'm one way because of you think that I'm a wounded, hurt, need to be restored type of woman, when I was like, no, this is who I am.
I love it.
Now, this Danny, watch. Are we not so sure he wasn't looking for a wounded bird? Because that is
And
the
that's
actual
what it
type
was.
of woman for some men.
Yeah. That's what it was. Some people do need to have that savior type of complex, and you felt no, that's not what I need, and I'm not even going to let you have that opinion of my ex, whoever, because I was like, don't associate that with that behavior. That's not even a reason why. But go ahead and believe what you need to believe.
Hey. Okay. All right. Y'all talking good tonight. Okay, so let me ask this. Would you take your ex back if they changed?
No.
Okay, well, Dietrich just gave us a plain no.
I
Well, y'all
don't.
quiet tonight.
I think that before you
Not be
finally
playing
done,
this married. No.
when you're finally done, there's nothing to take back, because you all should have grown and knowing that this ain't the recycle bin. I done gave you 2 times.
Hey, ooh,
That's what I'm saying. Thank you,
say
Danny.
it again.
Your
Thank
Say it one
you.
more
plastic
time.
been
Say it
recycled. You done
again.
went
Oh my
from a
gosh.
plastic bottle to a plastic bag. That means I don't need to hold nothing else that you have, and so it's best to move on. I wish you well.
Agreed.
I don't see it. I don't want no testimony of we got back together 22 years later, because no. I wish you well, baby.
Whew.
Mm.
Baby, the people that have commented on the people that
Uh-oh.
commented. Wait a minute.
Haven't
The
got him.
Saints is here. The Saints is here.
That
You know,
season
I'm
is
a
over.
Janae
little
said, nope,
conflicted.
the season is over. My
Baby.
brother LaRon said, exactly, Danny. My sis
Man, that's
Latasha,
what I'm
the
saying. Nah,
happy
man.
hour mobile bartender, she said, when you're done, you're done.
And I
Eric said,
applaud
that's good, Danny.
everybody that went into the God of a second chance. I don't want the axe head to raise up. I want a brand new axe.
That's right.
You know,
Hey,
sometimes he will replace. You don't have to give me what the cankerworm ate up. Give me what a caterpillar flew. Give me some butterfly wings. You know, sometimes I need something new. And you have to heal and you have to move on. But you know, if you have done that, please let us know. Because again, that's something that's special to you. But for me, I wish everybody I ever associated with well. And be
Eric
blessed.
Tatul.
Yeah, y'all be blessed.
Hey,
Be blessed.
LaRon is speaking in tongues.
Yeah, baby, old hot shot.
Talk,
Hey,
brother.
hey,
Talk,
hey.
brother.
Yeah.
Take your
You
time.
go ahead.
Take your
Hey,
time, bro.
Brandon said, no looking back, no back
Baby, you turn into a
steps.
pillar of
Hey,
what?
you turn
Salt?
into a pillar of
That's what
salt,
it did
baby.
in the
Nah,
last fight.
that's
Speaking of, did y'all get y'all tap of the seasons? My sister ordered me some, but anyway, but you're gonna turn
Listen,
some
they
sunset
had
looking
broke the
back.
McCormick website, baby. They broke the McCormick
Yeah.
They
website.
broke
I
it
said I'm not dealing with
again.
it.
This the
I'm
second
focused
time
on
they
Ivy.
done did that.
I'm focused on the Ivy Park tomorrow. That's what I'm focused on.
Yeah.
Ivy, how you doing?
Yeah, but yeah, X's are X's for a reason.
That's something.
right.
I
A little
love it.
That's right.
I love
conflicted.
it.
I'm a little conflicted with
Go
that.
ahead, Dave. Let's hear it.
Oh, okay, Dave. Let's see your
Please talk.
confliction,
Yes.
Dave.
You
Let's
know
see.
what? So, like,
Oh,
I agree with a lot of. I agree with a lot of what you said, but you know, I think that, and I was just telling DJ and Fred this earlier. I am such a softie. I am such a softie, and it's hard. Like when you really love somebody, when you see the potential of a relationship, when you see a person's potential, it's hard to say.
DK.
You know, it's really hard, and I think for me, I do agree with a lot of what you said though, Danny. But for me, I think the only thing that would, I think I would be more so concerned about being embarrassed. If I take
That
this
part
person
too.
back, I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm going to be looking like a fool. And so
For
there's
sure.
a possibility that if I know for a fact, and this is a for sure fact, because I've been through too much hell to be accepting one person in particular back. But if I know for a for sure fact that this person has changed under some extreme circumstances, I might give you another chance.
No, I'm not.
I ain't
I
got
hope
no
that
bang
new
in my
Extreme.
person
bag
is
up on
good
the
for that
wall.
new person you getting. I don't know. I'm
Right.
okay.
If that person won a whole lot of money, I would still say no and sue you because you owe me.
No.
But I
Now,
just,
but are we still ending these relationships amicably? Because I kind of feel like y'all like I
right.
ain't going back because it was terrible. But I thought we ended
Right,
this.
that's what I'm hearing.
Right. And then
No,
but
no, it's not
you
that.
know your role within that relationship. So if you do end it within good faith, you know that it wasn't good faith for you to be there. So even if I ended on a good, which I probably try to do, end on a good way, I still know for me, you know, that's okay. I tried that.
Then
And
that's not for me. Yeah.
and it's just not for me. But
Okay.
I see I wish you well. But I
Okay.
can't do the embarrassed part.
Listen.
I
Okay,
just don't want
so
to be embarrassed.
Janae just said you can't see more potential in them than they see in themselves,
Man, listen.
and I
Ooh,
totally agree.
cousin,
All right with me tonight.
don't cut up. Don't cut
All right
up,
with me
cousin.
tonight.
Baby.
Don't cut up, cousin.
Potential will fuck you up every
I
time.
mean every
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 time.
time,
every time.
every
I
time,
fell hard for
every single
potential
time.
like once. And the other
Every
times I just failed. They
time.
didn't have no potential.
We ain't
Yeah.
even gonna get started on potential.
Potential,
Baby,
Because
that
right?
boy,
Thank
is
you.
not fair.
boy, I mean, like we could literally just go like fraction by fraction of different types of aspects of
Potential.
life and talk about how
Yeah.
potential.
Well, David, at least yours had potential. Some of the people that broke my heart didn't have shit.
Yeah,
So
and
Hey,
you know what? I will say, I think that the way, I think it was easy for me to walk away from certain relationships because I honestly just fell out of love.
yeah.
But I feel like
That's
if I
what
still
no
in
fit,
love, I
yeah.
would probably still be in some crap right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Erica just posted. Erica just
That's
posted. I will be proud of the change, but we can grow separately and root each other on as friends or
That's
associates.
right. You know
I
what?
Exactly.
agree.
Yeah, go ahead. I
I
want you to
agree.
be the
Listen,
best you could be.
I I want you to be the
Please.
best you. I want you to be better than you was with me.
But that's the, and I think you should
That's the
have growth.
goal. Be
That's the
better.
goal to grow.
Because
I
I don't
want
want
you
you
to
to. I
grow.
don't want you to f up their life. Okay. I don't want you
Yeah,
to f like you left mine. That's what I
yeah.
don't want. That's what
In
I
the
do
wo-
not.
in the
Or
words of former First Lady Melania Trump, be best.
Be
Be best.
best. Be best.
Be best.
Yes. And I wholeheartedly do truly believe that because again, I know where I went wrong. I know me. And
That's
so I
good.
just can't continue to be wounded and blame everybody that I associated with my prior mistakes in relationship. And I think that comes with some time and some healing and some maturity that I can honestly wish you well without having any type of things to feel second I backhand you in what you want to do. But as far
yeah,
as getting on back, no, baby, you go
I
ahead.
like
no,
it.
no.
I like
It's
it.
You
even
know,
a
So
you got
all
certain
your
type of peace.
go ahead, DJ.
Yeah,
Yep.
even like my peace level is different
Yeah.
from you. Like my peace with you wasn't where it's at now. So
Mm-hmm.
even this new person that you are, that's good, and I want you to be better. But it's not worth me giving up the peace that I have now to even deal with that new better you. Like, cause that peace that I got now is more valuable than whatever. So for
it's the
me,
peace
it'd be
that
about the
surpass
peace.
all understanding, baby. Here,
That's
Nah,
good.
it'd be about the
Good.
peace.
That's good.
Do you
Janae just
all
said, I'm sorry. Let
go
me get to
ahead?
the comments real quick, Danny. I'm
Go
coming right up
ahead.
to you. Janae said there's a difference between going back for some good and going back to save face to be in a relationship. Just move forward
Ooh,
gracefully.
that's a
I ain't
lot in
going
it.
back for that
I
either.
don't care.
I ain't
Baby, once
I ain't going
once you
back for
know,
that
I
neither.
don't care. I don't care. I ain't going back for that either because it's just too. That's too polluted.
Well, I don't know,
I
Danny. You know, sometimes you get lonely.
that get you stuck again.
no,
Wrong person.
no, I ain't that lonely. No, no.
You better not be. You
I
better
could. I
not
would
be.
rather
Okay.
sound like a barbershop than go back. Okay, hear me.
Hey,
Um, but I was saying, do you all watch DK? You okay? All right, he back. DK, come back.
it's,
Come back, DK.
I am
All
giving
right.
you Regina Hall all night because y'all
No.
don't wake me up. Y'all don't wake-
Do you all watch what's that? Queen Sugar for
Yes.
the so
yes.
you see, I always try to give a little hope of restoration when I look at the one Charlie and her guy and just how that they are really working. But at the end of the day, y'all see Charlie, she ain't for it because she really wants her career. And so I'm glad that she is clear enough to set that because I was hoping she didn't sell out. If y'all don't watch it, you will see where she went ahead because he sound good. He has set up everything. He's been doing really well. But now she has grown and she's in a different space where she really was able to articulate this is where I am and this is what's going to be best for me. So I'm really
You
looking
know what
forward.
that makes me think of? I was thinking of it earlier, and then we got to talking about something else. But when we were talking about that T word again. I do something in therapy with my counselor where we talk about what I consider triggers for certain states of being, right? Because there are things that trigger and make you sad, things that trigger and make you happy. Triggers can be, a bunch of good stuff, right? They don't necessarily have to be horrible things. So what we take the ones that we do consider horrible things or whatever, and what we're doing is we're studying those things. We're trying to find their origin. We're trying to find the backstory behind them. We sit and we talk about them in deep, in-depth conversation. We break them down. And then through that process, we turn them into character builders. So, like, legit, we cross them off the list as I work through them. And she reminds me in sessions, like, I'll say, no, that triggered me. And she'd be like, no, it didn't. It character built you because we've already fixed that one. We know where that comes from. We know why you feel that way. We know what did that to you in adolescence, and we're over that. Correct. So when you saw that, you didn't have a moment of anger. You had a moment of building your character where you could settle within yourself and say,
That's
aha,
good.
this is something that gets to me, but I am bigger than that. I'm over that. I don't have to live in that moment anymore. And then I can move past it.
Yeah, a reflective state of
There you
mind is
go.
different than a
That's right,
trigger
DJ.
because
That's
a
it. That's it.
trigger a trigger comes with actions,
Yes.
right?
Facts.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Because
bringing
I
Yes.
back
would be
to
ready.
my memory is different, and you can be like, "Oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can spot a fool 20 miles away now." That's not a
Mm-hmm.
trigger. That's just you being
Thanks.
reflective,
That's just
checking
yes.
in with
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes. And that
A
is what she always reminds me. She's like, no, that wasn't a trigger. That was a character builder. You recognized it. You
Yeah.
caught it. You did the appropriate thing. Because, you could have choked out. You right. I'll be like, you
Yeah.
right.
Hey,
The power,
you
the
could have checked
power
out.
of
Okay, each tomorrow,
reflection,
right?
the power of reflection is so powerful. I think that my therapist kind of like, you just wasting your money coming to talk to me because you just literally are using me as a reflection mirror. So how about I gonna say you graduated? So how about I just say you graduated because you have the coping skills to have healthy reflection. So yes, all of that is just really, really good.
I like that though. I love
Yeah.
that we have that moment between me and her that she's because I get that too. Like she's like, I feel like you're just paying me so that you can hear you talk
That's
yourself
it.
through. And I'd be like, but I thought that's what therapy was about. She was like, but sometimes I feel very underserving for you. And so
Exactly.
we often have sessions where we are like, because we've done so many virtual ones with the whole pandemic and all that good stuff. So we would have actual sessions during quarantine where it'd be like, let's just eat ice cream.
There you go.
Last three things that we've watched on Hulu or Netflix. And like we legit be camera to camera, eating ice cream. Like, man, that Tiger King is crazy. You think Carol did it? Carol did it, girl.
Carol did
Carol
it. She did it. Carol did it. She put them sardines. She put them sardines on his feet, baby. I know she did.
But it would like transition and an hour would go past and I would still leave therapy feeling like I did some work for myself, even if it was just relating it to pop culture and what was happening, because we had gotten to a point where it's like, what you won't talk about, girl, it seems like you got that problem solved. What else you need? And I'm like,
But isn't
don't want
that
to.
what good communication brings?
Yes.
Like
Mm.
that's just good communication. That's
That's my friend. I'm
practicing,
like, I'm legit paying her to be my friend.
and that's okay. Keep us in business.
She wasn't
The
business. You ain't
reason-
wrong.
Like I really like her. I'm like legit. I'm out here on the internet. Like, what she don't want for Christmas? This was nice. Like,
That's right. That's good.
communication
That's good.
good brings all of that, and I
It does. It's healthy.
want people to realize this because I don't think we know as a people. Remember, triggers always bring about action. Triggers equal action.
Yeah.
When you trigger something, like you trigger a gun, you expect it to shoot.
right.
So
right.
remember, we have to, when we learn definitions, that's when we become wiser.
Vocabulary. Okay.
When
Out
you
here.
learn vocabulary, that's how you go to the next level. That's when you become wiser. When you
Wow.
do the work. It's really simple as that, because now you know how to compartmentalize and put things in their proper place.
That's
I'm
Help.
sorry, Fred.
Say
Help.
this one thing.
Help.
Yeah.
The list. Let me tell you something. That's why we got the panel we got. That's why we got the panel we got. Okay, y'all. And we moving on to our next topic. So we LaRon said he said almost out. That's how I say it. Go ahead. Okay. So y'all, we are moving on next subject. We are really making good time, y'all. This is crazy for us. All right, y'all. We are going into co-parenting. If you watched Insecure episode 3, episode 3. The episode dealt with co-parenting. I am not a parent, and it triggered me. Okay. So like, I'm gonna be honest. I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of family members that do co-parenting, and when I say co-parenting, it's in a way of being divorced or in a way of being we had a baby together, and yeah. So like, it's different levels to it. So me not being a parent, which is why I have my brother DJ, my brother Deshaun. They are parents. Danny, she has an adopted son, and I believe she co-parented at one time. Yes, no, yes. Okay, maybe. All right. Um, Egypt, before you got married, you were co-parenting, but y'all had always lived together though. So yeah, but that's also a version of co-parenting because it's in the house.
That is.
Co-parent. Without marriage, and me and Dave, we just got God kids.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you,
But
thank you,
you know
Jesus.
what, Fred? I think we were talking about this recently. I think that there's a huge difference between co-parenting and having two single parents. And I
Agree.
think that a lot of some of these situations, well, I won't point any fingers, but I do know of some people who are just two single parents as opposed to co-parenting with the baby mama or the baby daddy, because they're not on the same page.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that page was really shown if you watch Insecure. So I was like, man, this episode, I really don't want to just see Lawrence all the time. But it had a lot to it, even from the way the baby was born and the sisters and the mama. And shout out to Leela, y'all, she looked good to me. She was in that episode, Kiki Palm and all them,
Kiki
Issa,
Palmer, yeah.
It's just it's a lot. And then dealing with I deal with babies, I deal with the younger kids, and just hearing them tell the stories of their
Ooh,
parents.
baby,
So
they are the best.
it is the best. The one of us, I was with my mama all weekend. I sure can't wait to get back with my daddy. He gonna come get me this
Jesus.
afternoon, cause woo.
Baby
Jesus.
telling on y'all. Ain't
But
nothing
wait,
like preschool kids.
but here's the gag: the mama and the daddy is together.
Wow.
Favorite part.
The daddy must have went out of
Wow.
town, and he was like, "My daddy be back." So I was like, "Did the daddy?" They was like, "No, they together." The
That's my
daddy.
favorite part.
So they live together, but
Mhm.
they're still co-parenting.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mom. So it's a lot. So I was just like, wow, that whole dynamic just kind of took me for a loop. But the little boy was
So-
perplexed. He's like, "Hey, you come back, I'll tell you the story." I was with that
Hey.
mama.
So let's dig into those that are co-parents. Let's dig into the levels of co-parenting because I know there are different levels.
Okay, what level you want to dig into first?
I mean, you just expound. I don't know. I'm not a co-parent.
So, I can speak from both ends, and this will probably honestly be my first time actually publicly speaking about it. But I can speak ends of it, of co-parenting, married, and divorce, and everything. I can speak from that place. But it's co-parenting is happy, it's hell, it's exciting, it's excruciating, it's fun, it's frustrating. It's timely, it's tireless, it's co-parenting is everything, but the thing that everybody lacks when it comes to co-parenting is communication. We don't communicate, and a lot of times with co-parenting, we involve our own personal issues with the stuff that we only supposed to be discussing with the kid that's concerning the kid. Because co-parenting is basically we brought in a life together, and now we have to take care of this kid at least till they're 18. But our own personal problems that we call triggers that we have with each other intervenes and it gets involved in that. And that's why like the episode of Insecure was how it was, because there was a lot of personal stuff involved with that. Me finding out that you having a baby through text messages while you pushing is not okay. It's not okay. It's not like it's a lot of stuff that she did, but it was all that was resentment that she had in him, and it was just showing through the kid. Like it's almost like from a bitter place at the same time.
But I don't think that one. I won't let Condola hold that one. Not that particular instance. I'm certain. Condola was pushing, and the sister sent that text.
Yeah, that was Kiki.
Because when I tell you, she irritated my soul from
The whole episode
4:18 all the way up until minute 28:43 when that thing went off. And I feel like that's also the second thing behind your communication, DJ, is the communication between the two people who are the guardian and have made this human being. You made a whole human being. You sit down, you shut up, you've done nothing.
I agree.
She needed to shut her mouth she was indeed a catalyst and a problem in that relationship. Because if
I
you
feel
really
like this.
dissect the episode, if you really dissect the episode, what
What was it?
Condola wanted, Lawrence was trying to provide. What Lawrence wanted, Condola desired to give him. So why couldn't everybody make it work?
But then you have some people, Egypt, that feels like Lawrence was in the wrong because he was providing. I had a text conversation yesterday. I don't know if my aunt is on, but me and my aunt, and she said Lawrence is trash. But I told her, I said, let's go back to season 1 when he was sleeping on the couch. We've always known Lawrence is trash. We've
But
always known that.
why
Now,
is
don't
he
get me
trash in
wrong.
this situation?
Don't in the situation is that I feel like this. Even though you can get a job and you can do better and you can be better, you still fucking other people. You still worried about yourself. You're still doing whatever the fuck you want to do. You're doing all this extra, but and you're not tending to your child. Now, what happens with that is that you can. We go back to season 1 when he had this idea for an app, and he had this idea, but he was sleeping on the couch. He refused to get a job. He refused to do this. He refused to do that, and it was just like Lawrence da 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 da. But then we saw the glow up of Lawrence season 3, 4. We saw the glow up. Don't get me wrong for the glow up. My thing is that even if you glow up, recognize that you still have responsibilities as you glow up. So it was moments where he was like, now don't get me wrong, the scene where he was like tired and he was like, okay, listen, I done been here all day, but I'll vouch for my brother. I'll vouch for DJ. We have been at a gig or we've been at church for 12 hours during the pandemic, and he still went and picked up his kids. Whether you had to fly out or not, you know that's your responsibility. Rather than hearing the mouth of the baby mama, I'm gonna go get them kids. But he chose to say, well, I'm tired, but you wasn't too tired to fuck that girl that you was fucking.
Maybe we watched this episode and viewed it a little different.
And that's okay.
Absolutely. But I viewed that montage of scenes as the weekly activity. There's nothing he can do for Ja Monday through Thursday if he lived in a whole nother city. That's a baby. What he doing? FaceTiming him?
Listen.
What else does she want? What she want him to do? She want him to show up every Tuesday, hop a 2-hour flight to help her pump. What she want him to do now?
I don't think the flight's that long. Egypt. He was only in San Diego. I mean San Francisco.
San Francisco to LA as well.
No, I really am. I really am.
It's about 55
all right.
minutes.
We won't dig into the episode. Egypt. We'll talk, but still.
My bad. I'm sorry.
So I feel like this though.
To be fair, I was equally annoyed with everybody.
It's okay. It's okay. So Sean, you've been quiet. Let's talk about this co-parenting. You've done co-parenting. Sean been real quiet. I ain't had to kick him out the chat today or nothing.
Y'all gonna leave my friend alone.
He been over there grading papers. Go ahead.
I should be doing that.
Listen.
Not I should be doing
that.
Yeah.
No, this is a new quarter. Just started yesterday. I ain't grading no papers. But I will tell you all this. Looking back on my co-parenting days, especially the early days of it, it's rather embarrassing on my end. Okay. I think somebody said something about triggered. Absolutely. We did nothing but trigger each other. Like he said, there's so much going on, personal battles, personal whatever it is, and we're taking it and just leaping over into co-parenting. Right? Yeah, and don't let me forget something, because I'm going to swear up and down, you did not tell me. You didn't tell me. I don't remember. But as a father, I think that fatherly male instinct kicks in, where like, okay, now We're done with all that. We done bicker for 2 hours. Now I have to take care of whatever it is that's going on. Hit a lot of those moments.
Yeah.
The longer we co-parented, the better it got. We got so good where it was, hey, this is your week, this is my week, this is your weekend, this is mine. Flip flop, flip flop, flip flop. We did it. And you couldn't be, and you had to set a schedule. Oh, you going out of town when? Okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna switch
Oh,
this
absolutely.
weekend. So you
Absolutely on the schedule.
Absolutely got to set
we
the
got
schedule.
that good. Now, no, my two panelists did say that even if you're living together, you're still co-parenting. I respectfully disagree because now the dynamics are changed.
Well,
We're
please
not
explain.
married.
Please
We're not
explain.
married.
Okay.
We are not married, but we are acting as if we are in a marriage.
Okay.
We're not married legally, even down to states of attorneys on certain documents. This is what, so we are not co-parenting with our children. We are raising our children together. That's the point I'm at now. And I may just be saying that because of my personal experience. Because we co-parented when Jaden was born in 2013. So we started right out of college in 2012. Up until about when we decided to come back together in 2017. So literally we've only been back together, what, 4 years, 4 years?
Okay.
In which some new learning had to take place.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Some different
Because now
dynamics.
you have old habits
Mm-hmm.
that you've not gotten rid of, and other things are building on top of that. So that's another demon that you have to wrestle. And guess what? You have to look within yourself.
You know it.
And I'm sorry, sometimes you got to take the front row and say, okay, what the hell what am I gonna not intentionally do so that we don't blow up at this moment? What am I gonna do? Because if you blow up, then I blow up at you. Then the situation is sometimes man or woman, shut the hell up. Let them scream, let them vent, let them do all that. You shut the hell up because then you're agitating the situation. And then you have those kids in the next room. Now they're hearing you all agitate each other.
That part.
I can tell y'all the number of times we've even argued in front of them, and we were just on, it's just because we were on 10, maybe once or twice. In these last minutes, I intentionally say I'm not getting ready to engage in this activity in front of the boys.
And
Well,
that's
that's good. That's very good. That's very
Very
commendable.
especially that fighting in front of the kids, or even not necessarily even fighting, just the arguing and chaos, because children pick up on that and they internalize it, and it becomes a lifelong struggle for them. I actually have adult friends who talk about the tumultuous relationship between their parents when they were younger, and I can totally see as adults the way they respond to conflict and situations being a result and a reflection of growing up in that manner.
Wow.
I grew up with a yeller. My mother's a yeller. My family just loud anyway.
Egypt, let me come in real quick. 2 hours ago, somebody I know posted. They reposted something that says a 2-parent household means nothing if the relationship is toxic. She posted that 2 hours ago. I saw when she posted it.
Absolutely.
That's
That's the truth.
absolutely
And
true.
so whether
That's
you're
absolutely
married,
true.
single, co-parenting or not, whatever that relationship is, that situationship, that marriage is toxic.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
so the question I have is this to those that are co-parenting or those that are acting as if they are married in the same household and raising children. Have there been any triggers during your co-parenting, or have there been situations that have now set you in a way of where it has triggered you?
Sure. But like I said
Yeah.
earlier about triggers, I'm using them as character builders, right? Like DK said, I don't necessarily use that as an action to blow up, but there are definitely different ways we view and see things over here that sometimes I hear him say or do something with her or to her or around, and I'm like, but I also have this mindset of knowing that I'll never undermine him because I don't want him to undermine me. So we often have conversations where she's not in the room about things that have already previously occurred that I may not have been, like I tell you guys all the time, I'm vegan adjacent. He's the vegan. I'm just the one who does all the cooking around here. But he can go on a whole complete rant and make my kid feel some type of way. He doesn't see it. The male in him doesn't catch what I catch while I'm looking at my 12-year-old who's still learning who she is and figuring out her body, kind of take what her daddy is saying to her about food and what she eats. I'm like, she's 12 and she's a little adolescent girl. She kind of heard you fat. She like, that's not what I was saying. I know that. I'm aware of it because I know you go nuts about GMOs and food and organic. And she ate a honey bun and I saw her eat them Takis too. But she good, but she's 12. So the conversation, I had to go back behind that and I had to make sure I talked to my kid because I don't want her to feel some type of way where she in the mirror, like, well, my daddy thinks I'm fat. Even though that's not what he said at all. But going back to that, that's a trigger. It's a character development because I've always been the fat girl. And I remember being a kid who would listen to people try to say things like that to me, and that's what I heard. Maybe get a smile instead. They call me fat.
DJ?
I think, if I could be honest, one of my biggest triggers was I don't want to be co-parenting, but feel like I'm in a competition with my kids.
Ooh, that's good,
That's the
DJ.
same. I think that was a bigger trigger. I don't want us to treat our kids as a tit for tat thing. That's not how I want it to be viewed. So, you know what I'm saying? I had to that was always a trigger for me, like the whole tit for tat or this, I don't want to feel like I'm in competition for my kids' heart. I feel like they should love their parents the same or whatever, let that be the choice. So for me, that was like money, spending time with them, who bought this or how this is being bought, or you know what I'm saying, who in like whatever in that point, gave more that week, or who like I don't want to. I didn't. That was always a trigger for me, and it could come from in small things. You know what I'm saying? Well, I bought this, you know what I'm saying? And you telling me in the sense of like almost like I was better than you this week. That was triggered. That became that action, that consistent action became a trigger for me until I wanted to be healed from that. I don't want, I had to heal my own stuff. But I had to say how many times knowingly I know this is gonna be your response, and I still let it upset me. I know the reality. I know the truth. My kids know the truth. So why does that still have to have the same effect on me every time? Every time. It's just like, you just going to keep like almost like being that stupid to fall for it again or fall in that. Like, because I feel like after so long, a person knows what triggers you and intentionally can trigger you just because that's what they feel like they want to do at that time. So like that once I got past that, it was like a whole different type of piece. Because like, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, even though like we've like gotten like from what we was at, it was probably like, I'm like, Sean, it was like 15-20%. It was terrible. Now we're at like a smooth like 90, 92 on a good day. you know what I'm saying? But it, you know what I'm saying, it's a process to it. But that's also because even though that still may be a characteristic now, I don't want it to still confine me now. I don't want to be confined by it just because that's become your character, or that's what you do unintentionally or intentionally. I don't want to be affected by it because I know what I do. So I'm going to take pride in what I'm going to do, and I'm going to keep going every day. So like for me, at least for me, that was a trigger that yeah.
Now watch this, DJ. Watch this. As a child, as an adolescent, do you ever feel like you had to compete for any love from one of your parents?
No,
As a child.
I felt like as the child, I felt like the older ones had to compete with my father because my father loved me differently than in a way necessarily them. Like he was more vocal about him being proud of me versus them. And a kid that can make a kid feel a way like why you always boasting on them, like it's the only kids you proud of, like that can make them. So I knew it made them feel a way and stuff. And
We love
like for
you,
my
Eunice.
sister,
We love you,
There
Eunice.
you go.
We
So
love,
you
we
like
love
had
you,
already,
Eunice. We love you, Eunice. We love you, babe. We love you, Eunice.
you
so
know,
you
from
had
my
already
father,
made your childhood connection with the things that had triggered you as an adult while doing your own parenting. That's
yeah,
awesome. Good on you. Do the
yeah,
work. Good on you,
Do
brother.
the
Good
work.
on
yeah,
you.
Do the work. Do the work.
do the work.
Dave. Oh,
I
you
think
just
that
giving credit.
no, I was giving my thumbs
Okay.
up. But you know what? I think that, and it's easier said than done. I'm on the outside looking in. But one thing that I do know is that parenting is something that no one has it down packed. Like you are constantly
At
learning. How many
There's no
children?
handbook. There's no handbook.
Handbook. And so even if you got 9 kids, when you have that 9th child, there's something new that you're going to learn with learning. One thing that Deshaun said that I really liked when he was talking about his situation is that he and his significant other, if that's what we're going to call it, they are raising their children together. And I think that language is everything. And I think that when you move from a place from co-parenting, the first 2 letters of that co can easily lead into competition. But when you move from
Mm-hmm.
Say it
Yep.
again, Dave. Say it one more
co-parenting
time. Say it
to
again. Well, I'm gonna knock my
when
mic
you
over. Say
move
it one more
from
time, Dave.
co-parenting to raising your children together, even if it is in separate households, when you are on the same page, it's a more successful relationship, a healthier environment to raise the children, even if you are learning as you go. And that's learning the child, learning the situation, learning each other. But when you make up in your mind that we're going to do this, we're going to raise this child together and not co-parent, I think it's healthier.
Yeah, and I would take the word even out, Dave, because you should be learning as you go when you're raising a child. Because, like you said in the earlier part of your statement, it's a growth. There's no manual. It's a growth process. Like I legit pray, God, please don't let me fuck her up any more than she already is. Lord, please let me love her
We
so
love you,
much
Cookie. We love you, Cookie. We love you, Cookie.
that I take off one more day of therapy for her as an adult. Like legit. I mean, no, legit. Like the first time I knew that my husband would be my husband and he was my boyfriend for 16 years, let's be clear on that. But
We
the
love you,
first time
James.
I knew he would be my husband was maybe 2-3 years into the relationship when I was crying down. I'm talking about that can't catch your breath cry, can't get your words out like somebody punched you in your throat cry. I can't get I don't even remember what I was crying about, DJ. To this day, I don't know. And that man looked me square in my face, blubber and snot, and he said, "Ooh, your mama did a number on you." And I knew he was the man for me because he understood me. He understood me. Okay. And every now and again, when I cut up around here, he'd be like, "God damn, Angela." And I'd be like, "Don't do my mama. She did the best she
Hey,
could
she did
with
the
the
best she
best
could.
she had. But she did a number on me. She
Now
did."
you said a whole lot right there. I'm just gonna have to give you
She did.
go
I,
ahead.
al- I
Her and the
think
black
I
church did a
also,
number on me.
yeah, I
You did a
told
double.
and a
You
That
couple
felt that,
months
Dave?
last week,
you said so.
And around the world, Danny. what you
I
say,
told
Sean?
that couple of friends that the last generation, I feel, and you all can disagree, but I feel like the last generation kind of had to find their ways. And so,
Mm.
if I may be honest, I'm going to say the last generation, I'm trying to say this the best way I can, with all due respect,
Now say it.
honestly, but I'm going to have to say it. The last generation was pretty effed up as
I
far
agree.
as I'm going to say children. I'm going to
Mm.
the amount, and I'm just thinking about how I interact with my kids now, and
Okay.
even my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, those of us who've had that new generation the last couple of years. And I feel like we're more delicate with our children versus that last generation. I feel like the last generation only, I gotta be more honest, they only knew what the generation taught them. They only knew how to deal with children, how they learned from them, which was to be so aggressive and forceful. Y'all, the things I hear and used to hear, the language that parents would use toward their children, I would never say that to my son. I
I
would
still hear it.
never.
Oh, I hear it right
I'm
now.
talking about everything from MF to the B word to you slow and
It's so sad.
degrading your
It's so sad.
physical.
Absolutely.
I would never
Absolutely.
say those types of things. And
It's sad.
honestly, they got it from their parents.
And
And
that's
I don't
literally what I
know.
said. They watch their parents.
I don't know if it came from the trauma from the Jim Crow period and the civil rights period, and we know
You
what
feel
type
like
of
it?
period.
You feel like it did?
We know. We all know. It was just bad.
Who wanted to
And
Snickers?
so, me personally, I make it up in my mind every day that I don't want to raise my children how that generation raised their children.
Listen,
Sean,
Are you,
I am
are you
totally
sure
with you.
that's a generation thing, though, Deshaun? Because
I
Well,
do.
now
I
then,
know. I totally agree. I totally agree.
I think now here's the deal, because then in another breath they said, I don't think it was necessarily to this point that we're talking about now, but they said when I usually say a generational thing, they say no, it's a culture thing. So now is that a culture thing for us?
Hmm.
Well, I think
It's very much so culture. I'm sorry. Go ahead, DK.
our culture is so unique. Like we're still the culture that's still dealing with the crack epidemic. Like it's so many factors that go into this, and people having missing so many things from at home. It was so funny. A white lady, was talking to about the medical marijuana industry, and she was just like, being part of this industry and being a user, I feel like I can be more of a mother. And I was like, well, I bet a lot of black men felt like they could be more of a father too, but they in jail. So
Jesus.
here we are,
That part.
but I think that again, this conversation about because I watch family members and I watch friends who co-parent, and some who are married and raising children together, and I tip my hat off to all of them, because sometimes I can be chilling with them, and I see the argument, and it's about the kids, and I'm like, oh God, I think I'm not qualified for this, I need to leave. But it all boils down to communication. And I had to tell one brother of mine, I was just like, you know what, be honest and say you did not want kids.
Mm.
And when you are honest with that, it's going to lift a lot of weight off of you. You didn't want them. That does not mean they're not any more precious, because they are precious. It's the fact that that's something you didn't want, and you didn't have the voice or the words to articulate that.
Absolutely.
And quite naturally, she wanted her kids because of her beliefs. And so, that plays a part into it. And that kind of goes with the Condola and Lawrence situation. But, just admitting that and then going from there, you just got to, I'm praying for y'all.
Listen, you know me, boom. I'm praying for the people.
When you were talking about the generations before and those things passed down, I was thinking of have y'all seen have you seen the Medicare commercial with the old lady? I think her name is it Betty, Barbara, something? But it's a commercial, and they're telling them to call the number so they can have their benefits looked at and recertified, because there are more benefits that are now available for people over 65 on Medicaid. And I'm telling you, she's the meanest curmudgeon thing ever. Like, he's so kind. You're going to call the 800 number. Someone will answer and walk you through it. They probably won't even answer the phone. They'll be live operators, Sandra. Just call in. I know what my benefits are. I'm not calling anybody. Sandra, this is new for 2021.
It's the fact that you're giving us this whole commercial.
The commercial
The
is
whole
hilarious, though.
The
And
whole
the entire time I'm watching it, I'm thinking to myself, this is how y'all really act.
Yeah.
Like the 65 and older club, this how y'all be out here in these streets acting. This how y'all, if his daddy named him Cassius, I'm gonna call him Cassius. Call people what they want to be called now. Just use the pronouns. Learn how to do it, or just don't stop talking to us.
Baby, trying to get the people to use the pronouns is a whole nother,
shit. Go on, old lady. Go on, sit down. Get off the socials, clicking on everything and shit.
Now that's hard.
Wait, no,
That's
now I'll be
really
honest.
hard.
No, so have you seen just a quick sidebar? But while we're talking about the old people, there's a show that BET does, what that they did last season. It did get renewed for a second season. It's called the Miss Pat Show. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it.
I haven't, but I heard about it.
Okay, so Miss Pat, there's an episode where her daughter had a friend who used pronouns. It was a they them. I think they them pronoun. I don't know what the other one is. Forgive me my lack of knowledge. But I think they them theirs. I believe so. And so she was like, I forgot the character's name, but her daughter was like, "Mom, it's it's not a boy or a girl. They prefer to be called a they them, And so Miss Pat was like, "I don't give no fuck. I'm gonna call you this," and that's just what. And so her daughter kept inviting the person over, and kept inviting them over. I want to be politically correct. They kept inviting them over, and they had like a group project to do, and that's why they kept coming over. And so eventually, Miss Pat had to learn that what these pronouns represent. And so I thought it was a very good depiction of how people in the older generation do not understand those things. And then there are those of us like now that are like, I was explaining, I think I was telling you, Dave, or I was telling my auntie, I was telling somebody, how I was filling out an audition form for a show that I'm auditioning for. And they actually asked me in this audition form, what are my pronouns? And I'm like, we have gotten to a place where this is pre-pandemic. That was not a thing as a performer. They did not ask you your pronouns. Like, they would not, it was not a thing when you audition. It became a thing once you actually got to rehearsal, and we do the big circle around and be like, well, what are the pronouns? What's happening? Da 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 da. But so I just think that, like Sean said, a lot of the things have to deal with the generational divide, and we get to a place of where we don't necessarily understand, or we don't want to learn what's taking place now. Okay, as we're moving forward, because we have been stuck on that for a minute. And again, we are making good time, y'all. Here goes Sean. I'm muting. All right. Okay, so we have talked about levels of co-parenting. Thank you guys for sharing your experiences. I appreciate you all being very transparent during that. Okay, so our last and final topic tonight is, how do you heal through past hurt and trauma? How do we heal this heart? How do we mend this thing to love again?
Stop asking for closure and just leave.
See, that's your
Better
problem. You
close
need
the door.
closure. That's your problem. That's what your problem is now.
Closure. I need to go downtown to the
See,
sixth
I knew
town to the
FTP was
second.
coming. Danny, why didn't you warn me that the FTP was coming? I
Put
knew
it
it was
up.
coming.
Now let's hear him out. Sean,
If
go ahead.
you
Take the
need
shot.
closure,
Closure
that
be
means you're
leading
not
to
ready.
openings like your legs.
Okay,
Right.
you need a closure, and we all
Y'all give
know
him
what
the 2
happened
minutes.
to closures, because the closures I've seen, they always still open. It's a
Open.
big 10-inch part
Part.
right there.
Jesus,
Those
part.
closures are never closed.
Never
You got
close.
49
So
more
if,
seconds.
if you know,
Are we all talking about the same thing?
No, it's
Nobody.
him.
I'm
Just
trying
let
to
him
We're
talk.
not.
I'm
We're
making the
not.
parallel.
We're not.
Nobody.
Stay
We're
with me,
not.
Dave. I'm making the
He went to
parallel
a
here.
place.
I
We
am
know
with
that
you.
close.
I am
We
with
know
you.
that closures ain't really closed, correct?
That's not. They is not.
They're not really closed,
I feel like this though. I feel like
if
if
you
we
want to
are
get over somebody, stop asking for closure. Closure ain't nothing but a last something of a memory that you're trying to hang on to, when honestly you just need to cut the cord. And closures. Oh, let's just get one more.
okay,
dinner together.
Eric agrees with you. Closure is prolonged connection. I don't think it is.
Prolonged connection.
It definitely
there's a
depends on the
Y'all
situation.
never seen somebody cut a wire, the outside of wires, but the red and the black are still connected? That's
No, I
how
don't
it
cut
is.
wires, but I get
casing.
you.
He's talking about the
For my
casing.
mechanics out there.
I'm with
Oh,
you.
okay, go ahead.
I can cut the cord.
Prolonged
I
connection.
can
You
cut
trying
the
to cut off?
cord. But I need to know, like, so I can cut the cord, but I really honestly need to know, like, if this didn't, because the thing is this, I'm going to go back and do self-evaluation. I'm going to go back and do the work and be like, if it's me, let me know that it's me. Don't just ghost me. Don't ghost me. That's the first thing. Do not ghost me. Because if you ghost me, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Don't ghost
Craig got
me.
trauma.
I
Right.
do have, and I'm trying to work that out, amen.
That's
But
all right.
don't ghost me.
For you.
All right, let it go.
Fred,
Don't
you
ghost
need
me.
an FTP.
Yeah, put your
I have
FTP sign up too.
But that didn't mean something
No
for me.
Casper for him.
There's no Casper. I'm putting the big one up. There's no Casper for me. Okay. There's no Casper. Do not ghost me. But I feel like
Now,
this.
I think that's the difference, though. You don't just stop talking to somebody.
So now you
and
agree with
leave
closure.
with wonder. That
Now
ain't
you agree with
that's. I don't think that's where closure fits. Honestly,
But you
That's
know what? I think that
Why
closure
not?
looks different for every person. Like closure looks different for every
Mm-hmm.
person and for every relationship.
Yes.
And so to say that closure is prolonged, what the comments say? Eric said,
I'm gonna put it back up.
Prolonged
Hang on, I'm
connection.
gonna put
yeah,
it back
I
up.
think that's a little inconsiderate.
prolonged
prolonged connection.
connection.
So
That's
I was
Eric-
gonna say this. I was gonna
I
say
need
I-
some
I-
prolonged
Eric, in
connections.
any
I
other
like
sense, I
a
would agree with you, but not tonight.
prolonged connection.
I think that closure
I think
is
that's okay for me.
clarity in your disconnection, getting clarity in your
I
disconnection.
think it's different.
I like that
think it's
cigarette.
different.
I think
It's Erica with the
that
cigarette. It's Erica
there's
with the
a
cigarette.
misconception that closure means that you have to
Yeah,
find
nah.
closure within talking to the person whom this situation is over with. You don't have to talk to that person to get your closure.
I
I
think
just told y'all my therapist is my friend. Talk to somebody impartial and get your closure. Move
I'm
on.
gonna side with the y'all remember Bill Cosby? He was Ghost, but when he
Yes,
had on
so
clothes,
sad.
he appeared.
So
So I
sad.
think some of them now the last I ghosted somebody earlier in this year, and I just I had to do it for my own person. And I normally am I'm not a Casper, but the situation called for a straight up cutoff. Remove yourself. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 because of the nature of what happened. So it didn't merit a conversation. I didn't need a prolonged connection. It's just like, okay, you straight, you cool.
Me too.
Am I straight? If I'm cool, and then I don't need to talk to you no more. I mean, to this day, I have nothing in me to talk to him. Even if I brought it to therapy and waste my session on it, I think I'm pretty much gonna come to the reflection that that was the best decision. that fit the relationship that I whatever it was, situationship that I was involved in, because it just didn't merit that. Anytime that you had to keep talking back and forth was something that should have just been what we say, a vibe, a juice or whatever, and it was a prolonged connection of continuous. Boy, I had a whole carton of juice when I should have just had a sip.
Gotcha.
So I had to really realize that it was me that was prolonging this connection, and therefore I had to get a little ghost, had a cigarette, whatever y'all call it, because it just was not healthy for me. So I had to leave.
I like that.
So to go back to the original question, how do you heal? In any healing situation, you have to be a willing participant.
Agreed.
And being a willing participant means owning your shit, being able to look at the situation objectively. You got to know what you said and how you said it, what you did, own up to it, and you can't, apologize if I offended you. Yes. You offended them.
Yes, you offensive.
That's why we're having this conversation. So you have to be man and woman, enough to do that. And then from there, you seek the help that you need. You go to, what your spirituality life is like. You exercise that. You go get help in therapy and counseling. You cut off the stuff that serves you no more. So sometimes cutting off those relationships, whatever they may be, might be hard, but you literally have to cut them off. And that's hard. And you got to, and the thing is, I tell people all the time, sit in your shit, but remember, sometimes you will forget what shit smells like. You can't stay there. You cannot stay there. You cannot stay there. So you got to, there's an onus of you. You got to be a willing participant in your healing. And sometimes it had to happen that way. And you have to forgive as if you're never going to get an apology. Because you might not get an apology.
Outside of relationship, I think that's a habit that we have to break, period, when we are intentionally laying in shit just because we want to, for whatever that reason that may be. Sometimes it's attention, sometimes it's coping, sometimes it's, I don't know, shit, aromatherapy. I don't know what the hell it is. But you're not going to tell me to keep participating in something that's bringing me down and making me weary, and my heart is in my damn ankles.
You're weary?
Your ankles? Where's it at? Show your heart.
Pull it up.
Hey.
Gather your bearings.
Down to the Swiss Hotel for a couple of days to get my mind straight, so I can lift up out of this. And I think oftentimes it's a lot of people who just like being there for some reason. They just like I don't like being there. God damn it, when I get depressed, I'm taking my ass to Navy Pier alone. I'm going to get me a spot hero, and I'm going to walk up and down Navy Pier for 5 hours until I get my mind straight or get to where I want to be. You know where you want to be. You know that point where you like, okay, I'm there, I'm calm, I'm whatever that it may be. But nothing bothers me most is those people who like being in those situations. And my question to the panel would be, how long do you give those types of people grace until you're like, okay, it's time to whatever?
Agreed, Sean. Who wants to answer that? How long do you give people grace?
I don't, as patient as I am, I really don't have patience for that, because I don't allow myself to wallow. So I don't really have patience.
I am the friend who is the truth teller. In my circle, I'm the one they call. If the friends have decided somebody is taking too long to get the ish together, I'm the one they call. Mourned about it, it's time to get on up.
You ain't wrong.
Eeyores annoy me. And I know
Am I
I
still
should
in
be
here?
better
Okay.
about it.
You still in
I
here?
should really be more compassionate and give people some chances. And I think certain people got a little bit more grace, and then some people every time I'm like you, and they just stump their finger. Don't cry about it. Hell, you already annoying enough. So I just have to really kind of gauge, is it me or something that I am transferring because that person just triggers something with me when I see them sad because I don't get sad. So I understand why you getting sad. So I really don't understand what the fuck is your problem because I don't have a problem. And so I have to really
Hey,
kind of think about that and make sure I'm quieting myself enough to kind of see into a situation. And so sometimes that's why I just remove myself fully because it takes too much work to get me together to be there to tell somebody else to get their stuff together.
I like
Dave.
that, Danny.
You know,
Danny, I love that. Dave.
I think it's sort of like cooking. Like I think that in order to be a good friend, I think that it's important for you to be there for your friends, and I always say to show as much mercy as you think you might need. We never know when we're going to need mercy or grace from someone else,
Right.
and so I try to extend as much of it as I can. But like I was saying, I think it's sort of like cooking. I'll never forget. I was going through a situation, and Fred, we were out somewhere, and Fred said, "Okay, it's enough. It's enough. Enough is enough. You know, we're not gonna talk about this every time we go out." And it was in that moment that I felt like Fred was. I was in a skillet and I was cooking, and Fred said, "The bacon is done.
It's done.
Hey,
It's time for
I
this
had got
bacon to
popped
come
out
out
of
this
grease.
That's
skillet."
Okay.
good.
I think that it's very important to surround yourself with friends who know, who know you well enough to know, okay, you're done cooking. You know, it's time for us to put some ice or some frosting on this because DJ he injured his finger a couple of weeks or months ago, and we were all arranging his band-aid, and immediately we were about to rebandage the finger, and a friend of ours said, "You need to let it breathe." And I think that that's another thing, with that adds to the healing process. Letting stuff breathe, don't constantly smother it. And I think that our characteristics and qualities of a good friend know you well enough to know that it's time for you to breathe or it's time for you to stop cooking because you're done.
That's good. That's good, Dave.
That's good, Dave. That's very good.
It's this
But I think that
wow.
I'm glad you listened, Dave. I'm glad you listened and didn't discontinue. My annoyance is that after I done sewn and told you, and you still doing it, and then you
You
always
still.
want to. I'm literally still doing it, but you always want to talk about it, and so
My Lord.
it's a hard no for me. It's a no for me, dog, because you continue to put yourself in repeated situations and still want to have the same dialogue, but then you want to question my loyalty to you because I don't want to sit up and hear it no more. And we didn't have these meetings, we
Wow.
didn't talk about it. You don't want to
Wow.
be released from that, so why are you holding me hostage with you? I don't, and then
You know,
it hurts.
sometimes that's
If you wonder,
let me get this
Hold
out,
on.
Deshaun. What I've realized with people like that, I've learned and my discernment has kicked in. That's the only time they're able to feel something.
Ooh, that's
Ooh.
That's the only time they're able to feel something. That's all they know.
I apply that thinking with them little crying teenagers, but I often don't give that much grace to adults.
right? I think
True.
Y'all got
it's
the wrong
important.
person.
I think that's
And
true.
we talked about that last week too. About you got a certain age to where you can act like this. After that, no more.
You got
You are
three.
not-
That-
no
that-
longer
We said that last week.
That
At
sounds
a certain
good.
point, at a certain
Hold
point in
on.
time, there is a
It's like-
place where you got to grow.
It's like a crackhead because
My Lord.
when
Okay,
they
Judge
hit,
Mathis.
when they hit that rock,
Yeah.
that feel good, don't it?
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean.
But
You going somewhere?
all in all, it's tearing them up from the inside out.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
going back to
Agreed.
what Kay said, it feels good.
Yeah,
Does crack not feel good to a crackhead?
You like crack, don't you?
What about a heroin addict? What
I
about
don't-
those weed smokers?
But see, here's the pushback with
that.
that. There are a lot of people in cemeteries that have died crackheads and heroin addicts.
And some have died from
Just like
some have
people,
died-
there are a lot of people that have died that have not grown in those areas. So the thing is, like, I can't, you have the potential to heal, but I
But you
can't
don't
want
want
the
to.
healing no more than you do.
More than you.
And you have to be in that space of wanting to heal. That's why I said you have to be a willing participant, because if you're not, it's never going to work at all.
I agree.
And I
So
have no
the
patience with
whole
that.
thing is, at a certain age you should be this, that, and the third. That's not necessarily true, and it doesn't apply to everybody. Yes, I think for us as well able-bodied adults, and I'm assuming that we are, followers of Christ, we have to lead our lives in a different umbrella because of
Right.
that. But for other people who don't, the
But I
rules
also think
don't apply.
at
Here you
certain
go.
points in your life, there comes a compromise where you compromise not only with yourself, but the community around you. And when I say compromise, I mean, yeah, I can stay in this place, but you've had when do we officially turn adults? What, 21 or I don't know. I'm
Technically
gonna say
18.
21.
Technically
I'm
18.
gonna okay. We're gonna
57.
use it. So if I get from 18 to 30, that's already 12 years. Okay, shit. If you ain't got it then, okay, let's keep practicing. But when I make it to 35,
Frank, you
and
doing
when
all
I
this
make,
math.
I'm just saying, and when I make it to 40, and then I'm no longer changing, and because I'm using that same excuse, oh, I'll change. Everybody takes their own time, is at your pace. But then somewhere
You
I'm
talking
probably
good, Sean. I ain't gonna lie to you. You talking
down
good.
that timeline. They done critique somebody else's progress, but now I can't critique your progress because you still landing shit from 12 years ago.
Yeah,
But
how
you
long
don't
will
matter.
you mourn for
So
Saul?
this is where the compromise comes.
Now that's good, Eric.
I mean, sackcloth and ashes. I mean, and pork chops and applesauce. There's just, we good as church folks. Church folks gonna do what church folks do, and we gonna say what we're gonna say. And like I said, we live under a certain, type of, we're supposed to
And
live
y'all
under certain.
endure. I ain't
The people
enduring.
say how long. The people say
I'm
how
not
long.
enduring.
How long? I mean, and that is
How
it.
long?
How long? But here's the thing: it's probably
My
going to
question to
take.
you, DK, how
It's
many people have missed their time? This is the relationship you supposed to be in, but you still land in the same shit from this X amount of years ago. Now you done missed your train.
I ain't missing
And
nothing.
now you got to wait on the next one, and the next one comes in 29
Nah,
minutes.
baby.
I'm
That's
on
when
all
they
trains.
sing that
I
song
like
to say
all
train
trains.
back and get your load. The train ain't coming back to get no load, baby. You gotta catch the
Ain't
next
no-
one, honey.
They don't
I'm
You
reverse.
getting
better
on the
They
train.
keep
the train
going.
don't reverse, baby. She come back, it's another schedule. How you
Well,
doing?
Now,
I think
if
this
that
was a
train
train
ends
back in the
up, if
early
that train
1900s
ends
that
up
they were
back
talking
at
about.
your destination, because we know with trains, they come down the same track again, and eventually they'll pass that point where they saw you, but how much more damaged are you when they get there again?
Well,
Oh my.
and here's the
Them
thing:
kids be
like,
waiting on the pace bus, yeah. The handicap pace bus.
so if we want to take it that route, y'all, the children of Israel was on it took
Come on,
them
DK.
40
It's a
Come on
Bible
with
days.
it. Come on
study.
with it. Come
It
on with
took
it. Come
them.
on with it.
It took them 40 days and yeah, it was 40 years, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be a 10-day trip.
Where did
Mm.
they go?
So the thing is just
In
like,
circles.
if they would have got to the promised land in 10 days, they would have not known how to treat it. So within those 40 years, certain things had to be uprooted, certain things had to grow, certain people had to connect. It was a process. So the thing is just kind of like, I can't, and this is me. I'm not speaking for nobody else on this panel, but as for me, I can ask the questions how long, but I can't judge somebody how long their healing comes, or if they want to heal or not, because it is all a choice. It is all a choice. I have the responsibility of how I'm going to place you and handle you because of your decisions.
Choice, yeah.
But I'm not, I can't sit here and judge because it was a choice for me to be a willing participant in to do what I needed to do for DeKevius Wilson.
Now I got a question, y'all. Did we ever answer the question that was asked?
What was the
I
question?
think that we did. How do we heal so that
Oh
we
yeah,
can heal true
I
love?
listened to it.
I think DK did answer that for us. That the
Yeah, no,
first
DK did. Yeah.
Just want to
Is-
circle
is-
back to make sure that was clarified because
Yeah.
we started mathing and training.
No, we did,
So-
right? We did. We made some training. Okay, y'all. Last thing before we sign off for tonight. What? So a lot of us build when we come out of we have hurt from relationships and we have trauma from past relationships, situationships, co-parenting, all of that stuff. A lot of times there becomes a brick wall that becomes built up, or an invisible glass wall. It's something that I use. I say, well, I don't use a brick wall. I said I use an invisible glass, a plexiglass wall, because I want to see who's coming to the wall, but you still can't get through it. It's still a wall. It's still there. How do we that mentality of building that wall? What is that? What's that mentality? What is that?
It's all about like I'm going to make sure that I never get got again.
Yeah, it's a protective.
Yeah,
factor.
it's a protective mechanism. It's just really a mechanism that these little pebbles have created this huge wall. But someone told me in therapy that the walls that I have also keep out the good.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
DK, we just gonna drop your we just gonna drop your cash app in the
I
comments
was just going to
because
say,
you done the people tonight. I mean, at this point,
and they bless you.
Yeah. We all are born with innate abilities to have protective factors. So that's one thing that I test for in children. There are certain ways that you have to be socially so that you can be prepared to not put yourself in danger and harm. They're called protective factors. And sometimes they keep building upon because we don't have healthy interactions to kind of, what's that, prune, right? So if you don't prune a red tree, it's going to keep on growing out of the way. So that's the same thing with our protective urges. If we are continuing to put ourselves in situations where we're not having the healthy places where we have that trust built up, then our protective factors are going to go up. So therefore you get walls. You nice to say plexiglass. Some people just got straight up brick concrete walls.
you're
Nah,
right.
that's real.
It takes
Now, I want to see what's coming at me, baby. I got you. You can't see. You might be the fool.
Right.
Okay, hello.
but you have to put yourself in positions of knowing what we said early in this conversation. You know, what mindset are you in before you engage with anybody? That's in any relationship. What are
Absolutely.
you really looking for? And so until you can know within yourself what you're liable to give of yourself, then you can probably sometimes quiet the urge to have that wall because you are protective of yourself. So you know what type of person from looking at them, from seeing them, or you have a feeling, your urge in your gut, you got the Holy Spirit talking to in one ear. Sometimes I turn them off, but we know within ourselves, what will be a violation to the wall.
Yeah.
And we just have to really kind of put ourselves in a position to say, hey, I'm protective, or I'm feeling this urge because there is something that inside me, and trust your gut. If you can't trust yourself based on the situation that you put, you are really blocking a wall to yourself because you don't trust you. So it's a lot of work that it takes to kind of get to that place. Reassurance, being around a great, healthy group of people, which I think we said that can kind of like help you process that, and then put yourself in situations that promote healthy interactions.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I love it.
I would, yeah. I agree.
Anybody else?
I think the mentality that I would take on like that building the wall or having that wall up, I would call it elevated experiences. Basically, like because a wall just don't come just straight as a wall. You have to, if you're using brick, you have to lay the foundation with the cement. You literally lay it perfect. All of that is elevated experiences that you. So some people like you, Fred, you want to see them. You need the plexiglass. You want to see them. You got to. Me, I don't want to see it. I don't even want to feel it coming. I don't. That's how like out of sync I want to be with it. So I built that wall all from experiences of hurt. Whatever. All of that creates that wall that has me where I'm at now. at this point in my life where like no matter like I don't even want to see that again. So it's like out of sight, out of mind. That's how I consider it's like that.
That's
So,
good.
so Dave, I'm gonna start with you as we wrap this up. This is it. How do you love again?
Well, so if I can just go backtrack, I think that
That's
it's
fine.
okay
Back train.
to
Get your love.
I think it's okay to build walls as long as you are intentional when you're building your walls and making sure that you've got some windows and some doors, because you don't want to block your blessings. In the event that something else comes along, you got this wall built up and it's stopping you from getting what you need. As long as you got a window or a door, you got a space and an opportunity
I
to
love it.
to be accessible, or for whatever comes your way. Loving again, that's a tough one. How do you love again? By just making yourself available to it. That's a difficult one for me, because I feel like in every circumstance I'm just a natural loving person, I think. And so loving for me is easy. You can have done the worst thing in the world and I'm still gonna love you. And so it for me it's just a matter of just making myself available to it.
Sean, how do you love again from all of that?
I'm an optimistic person. I'm sorry. I'm an optimistic person, so I'm always looking for new ways and new challenges and new whatever to of achieving things. I don't bring anything from my past situations into my look or what have you in looking for another spouse. Like that's just extra baggage. I think we need to, and I'm gonna keep going back to this. We need to just honestly, and maybe I'm being selfish, and maybe this is what type of person I am, but we need to honestly, when we are going looking for new love, our minds needs to be clear, our minds and hearts clear.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's
that's
just
not
me.
selfish.
And
That's
people,
not
you don't know how I feel. You don't know what I went through. But why in the pure holy hell are you trying to go look for something new when you're
That's
still damaged?
yeah.
I don't understand the
Mm.
logic.
That's it.
I
No, you
Egypt.
understand the duration is taking too long. Understood. But why in the pure holy hell are you trying to go find something different? Now you have to mix those spirits with the new spirits, and now your ass crazy. Because you're expecting what you had in your last thing, you're expecting it now from this person, and that person can't give it to you. Because this is
Mm.
not that person.
yeah.
And so while that person is trying to adjust to you, you are trying to adjust to the last person.
That's
Mm.
good. That's good,
So
Sean.
that's my outlook. All if you don't leave with anything else, leave with this: all minds and hearts clear.
That's it.
Egypt.
That's it. I'm gonna take what Dave and Sean both said. Um, Dave with the being leaving yourself open for love. I'm going to add to that by saying, because I know someone is out there listening going, what does that actually mean? What does that look like? If you want to leave yourself open and available for love, the first thing that looks like is going back to what Sean said, having a clear mind and a clear heart. And the way to do that is to learn to love yourself. I think
Mm.
it is very hard to get out of a relationship, a situation, a friendship, or whatever it may be, where you were feeling where it wasn't the best, that situation in that relationship. And then you try to go into something else before you clear that space between, where you go back to loving yourself. Because, like Sean said, you're now in this new thing and you're taking over what's left over from the old thing. And that could
Mm.
simply just be the feeling of how you think you're supposed to be loved. But if we take time to actually love ourselves and find out how we love ourselves and how we can provide, sorry, Sean, how we can provide our own love language for ourselves, then I think that we'll be in that place, in that position where our hearts are open, and now I am available for love, and now love can find me. Or just come with me and Danny to find these Hallmark towns and see if we can find us who's visited from Bulgaria, who he's looking for a wife.
If you are whole married, I'm confused. What are you going to a Hallmark town for?
Because I just love the movies.
Okay, you
They
just you just
blessed
gonna go.
me.
You just gonna
They
sit and be
blessed
an extra in
They
Danny's
blessed
scene. You just
me,
gonna be
okay? They
you gonna be that
blessed me.
person in the booth behind you. Just turn around like,
Yes.
hey,
Because I swear
you
I
ain't
seen
wrong.
Danny's movie. I
You
seen
ain't
that movie,
wrong.
Danny. It was beautiful. It ended lovely. Everybody left happy. Everybody.
Yes. Yes. We need to work on that sad bar. We're working on Hallmark. But go ahead.
Right. DJ, what's your?
How do we love
Uh,
again, DJ?
How do we love again, bro? How do we love
Honestly,
again? Because young
it's
people
for
forget the
me.
question.
It's simple. Yeah, for me, it's simple. How I
So,
take it on is just like being happy, like solely being happy, or learning how to be happy again. Like when you sad or you often like feeling indifferent or something, you really don't feel anything.
hmm
Love is at the end of the day, it's still a feeling, something you feel for somebody, something you give to somebody. It's something. In order for me to do that, I have to be happy. Me being happy means I'm happy with myself. I'm happy where I'm at.
hmm
I understand the mistakes that I've made, and I am now content and happy with them. I can move on. Now I am happy to pursue something else. I'm happy to do this. You come in a different limelight if you're happy about something. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel anything. So in order for me to love again, I have to be happy. Like I have to be happy. I have to be okay, which means mentally being okay, physically, like whatever. Like I have to be okay in all aspects. That's how I allow myself to be like love again. And that's kind of hard in a sense at times, depending on
Yeah.
what you're coming out of too.
Mhm.
Or So yeah.
Good stuff, DJ.
Danny, that's good. Danny,
It was so much richness going around. I think for me personally, I just have to do it. I have to really through therapy, um, through talking it out. I had to really look at have I ever allowed myself to actually love, and what does that look like for me. So I had to
Mhm.
really define, my interactions. That's with parents, friends, relationships. And is that what I defined as love? So once I was able to really kind of, do some soul searching with help, I needed help. The help to do that, I was able to process. And now I'm able to identify the feeling. And then that's how I'm able to actually kind of share and be in a place to receive love and be in a place to give love, because I had to really understand what that emotion felt like for me
Yes.
and allow myself to feel that emotion.
Danny, I totally agree with that statement. Egypt, I agree with you. Sean, DJ, Dave. So I'm not gonna say much because I literally agree with everything that everybody has said. DK, we're gonna have you give us our final thought tonight on this friendship, relationship, and growth, and what we have learned in these last 2 weeks, and how can we take these situations of all of this that we have talked about tonight, um, and grow from this.
You, we can take all of this, right? I hear people all the time that say, I've been taking L's left and right. You literally have to change your perceptive of
Mm-hmm.
what this is. L can also mean I'm taking these lessons left and right. So if you change your thought pattern of taking a loss to a lesson, you're literally now looking at life as a class, and you are the world's student. And you have to be a willing participant in your relationships, your friendships, whatever type of ships that you have. You have to be a willing participant, because love is an action. You got to love yourself first, and you got to figure out what that looks like. Because a lot of the times, if some people, this is homework for everybody, going back and looking at the people you've dealt with in friendships and romantic relationships, You begin to see a lot of yourself in these people. You've been dating
Mm.
Yikes.
yourself all this time.
Yikes.
You've been cussing out
Good.
yourself all this time.
That's
You
good.
have been arguing with yourself all this time.
Fighting.
Like there is a pattern and a root cause. Once you get to the root and you begin to understand these things, that's when you become a better person, and then you can look in the mirror and love yourself. Because honestly, a mirror is just you just looking at yourself, and we tend to
That's it.
avoid mirrors. So when you get into the mirror and you
Woo!
can love yourself, you
Woo!
can honestly go and love. And I'm gonna tell you this: the right people you're supposed to love will come to you because you are now
Right.
ready. It is now, the world is now ready for you when you get to that point. But you have to be a willing participant in it all.
Wow. Well, y'all,
Play some call to the altar music.
I mean, listen, I need somebody to play something at this point because I want to rededicate my life back to Christ. Uh,
She saved because she played elevated worship.
I'm
Alexa
straight.
knows the Lord. My
I'm
Alexa
straight.
knows the Lord.
I'm hollering.
Alexa, pause.
She don't get us flagged.
She knows
To
the
God
Lord.
be the glory.
Y'all, this has been an amazing conversation tonight. It is really playing worship music. This has been an amazing conversation. You don't get us flagged. Hey, LaRose said, all minds satisfied. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, good brother. Yes, sir. Um, Tonight, these last 2 weeks have literally been epic. The amount of
Just
text messages and inboxes that I have received to the page, to my personal page, we are just literally, y'all, we are out here just giving you all life experience, telling you our stories, being vulnerable of ourselves, giving of us. um, DK, wow. Wow. I wish you were on last week, but you needed a moment. If you got to take a moment again like that and come back like you did tonight, that's okay
come
with me.
on. Come
Yeah.
on. But did you feel how it felt like he was here
Like
last
he was
week
here
though?
last week. I'm
It's
like,
like how you gonna give that analogy? We said
did you
that you
listen to the
wasn't here.
podcast? Did you listen to the podcast?
He did his homework before he got here. I
He
like you,
did.
DK.
He did.
Yeah, I sure
And
was like, this is just a confirmation of what we already
what
said.
we already said last week. It just,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
oh my God.
Yes, sir.
Tonight has been amazing, y'all. We have tackled this friendship, relationship, and growth. And at the end of the day, we want everyone to seek help if you need help.
Please.
If you don't know that you need help and there are people around you that are telling you you need help, get that help, because sometimes we don't understand it on our own or
Get
from our
the
own
help.
Yeah.
perspectives. Please, y'all, go
Yeah.
get the help and do the work.
Go.
When
You
you
are
do
not
the work,
alone. You
you
are
are
not
not alone.
alone.
You've got 7 people on this podcast right now telling you to do the work, and we are doing the work, and we are starting to do the work, those of us
That's
that
right.
have not done it. So I promise y'all, it has been epic. Insecure, this has been great. We thank you for being on brand with us, and we are on brand with y'all. We're gonna pick up next week with All Insecure. We're gonna watch these Erics that get the damn help, okay? um we are going to pick up next week with All Insecure. So we're gonna have some other special guests. DJ and Dave, y'all are family. We gonna have y'all back on next
Thank
week.
y'all. I love y'all.
So glad
But
to have y'all. And we're gonna watch Insecure and get this together. We're gonna talk about this thing and see what next week brings us. And y'all, next week it's an Insecure party. We are mid-season through. And Insecure, as I was telling my aunt today, I said one thing that the appreciation I have for this season, it's not just giving us laughs, it's giving us think pieces.
it
Yeah.
is.
We are thinking, and we gotta kind of we gotta work through it. We're working through it. And Sean, for you not to be an Insecure watcher, you are chiming in on these topics and these subjects, but I advise you to watch Insecure. You'll see a lot of reflection of
You can
yourself.
use my code.
You can use my code. Okay.
You can use my
um
code.
we all got HBO Max, okay? Um,
I'm
we gonna
sorry.
help you. It's all right.
I do know that HBO Max takes out of my account every month, so I'm okay.
Well, you go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, you go ahead and watch the show then. Yeah.
Well, I'm getting on
Yeah.
yours.
Right.
I
Right.
know that's
I'm gonna end mine.
Right.
Yeah.
also mine.
I'm
No,
gonna
that's
end mine.
Yeah,
DJ, we gonna
I
get on
got
his.
Hulu with no commercials.
No, for real.
You so nice.
Baby, you fancy. You
Damn.
fancy rich. Go
You go
ahead.
ahead.
Take your time. You go ahead. You go ahead. Y'all, it's
No
10:30. We have been on here for a while. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. We have had a lot of viewers tonight. Thank y'all so much. We love y'all. We will see y'all next week. This will be posted tomorrow on the podcast. If you feel like you need to go back, get you some notes. It'll be posted on the actual podcast line. Y'all, by the way, we are live back again on all the podcasts. You can catch the first 2 episodes. They are live. Y'all have been downloading us. We are at a huge number of downloads in the first week. I'm so excited. So y'all just share this with someone that you think might need the help or that you love. Share these podcasts. We are literally on every podcast. We're not just on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on Pandora. We're on iHeartRadio. We are out here. We are doing the work, y'all. We are just literally being cultish. We are here a podcast for the Black culture. We love y'all and we out. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
later.